Good evening. Welcome to the Ladies Room podcast tonight. We have a really fun show scheduled for you guys tonight. We're going to talk about a few current events, a few little interesting things that happened on these interwebs this week, a few viral moments that people have been talking about. And I have my people with me tonight. I have Supreme Super Saiyan wives with me, to go ahead and teach those courses. Go ahead and say hello to the people tonight.
Shalom, queens.
And I got my boo, Darwin Hill, our resident male on the crew, coming in from, he's out of town right now, so I'm missing you, wink, wink. Okay, when I do that.
Let me leave the room, okay? I give y'all the privacy y'all need. Y'all can have some privacy.
He gets so mad when I wink at him. Go ahead, say how you doing to the people.
They see me. They know what time it is.
Oh, they already know what time it is.
They already know what time it is. What's up, everybody?
Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, we are missing, our girl Jovo tonight. She has some prior engagements, but she may be on a little bit later, so hopefully she will come through. And once we really get into these topics, I will be posting the link in the chat. If you would like to hop up and join the conversation, you will be more than welcome to do so once we get into it. Okay, so first thing I was thinking about, just to give a little idea of, oh, my little person just came and turned off my light. Okay, we all good right now. So I was thinking about, or I came across a post that was bringing up, Tupac and one of his songs that he had from back in the day, over 20 years ago. It does not seem like it was that long ago, but over 20 years ago, Tupac had his song. Let me go ahead and put it up so that we can see it. Are you guys able to see that? I feel like you can't see it. I can see it. But he had his song, Keep Your Head Up. And it was interesting that these lyrics from 20 years ago seem to be very relevant to today. So, like, just a refresher. I'll just start at the part where he states, he's like, when you come around the block of this clown a lot, please don't cry. Dry your eyes. Never let up. Forgive, but don't forget, girl. Keep your head up. And he says, and when he tells you you ain't nothing, don't believe him. And if he can't learn to love you, you should leave him. Because, sister, you don't need him. Right? You don't need him. That's what he said. He told us, you don't need him if he can't learn to love you. Then he say, and I ain't trying to gas you up. I just call him how I see him. So he's not pandering. He's saying that this is just what he see. He say he's not pandering. He just wants you to know that that's what he's singing. And then he said, you know what makes me unhappy? When brothers make babies and leave a young mother to be a pappy. That means leaves her to be a single mom all by herself. And he also said, and since we all came from a woman, got our name from a woman and our game from a woman, I wonder, why do we hate our women? Do we take from our women? Do we rape our women? And he said, I think it's time to kill for our women. Huh?
Finish.
What?
Finish.
Why you just interrupt me?
Girl, finish.
Say, I think it's time to kill for our women, time to heal our women, be real to our women. And if we don't, we'll have a race of babies that will hate the ladies that make the babies. Now, I say all that to say, I feel like we're kind of at a point where we're seeing some of these kind of prophecies that Tupac made come to fruition. Do you guys think that we are in a time where we have a race of babies that hate the ladies that make the babies?
First of all, you just hurt my ears when you just slandered that poem. Oh my God, it's horrible. The worst reciting of a Tupac poem I ever heard in my life. Golly, that hurt. I was just so flustered. Right, Raven, you feel it, don't you?
Oh, hold
No,
on,
I
hold
was
on.
gonna come in with a beat,
Hold
but
on one
I didn't
second
think she
before
wanted
you
that.
get to hold on a
Ooh.
second before you get to trying to gun and trying to roast. I have a special guest for you all tonight in the building that decided to come through and show us some love.
It's
I'm gonna
Tupac.
add her to the stream. Hey, Miss
Hi.
Straight
Oh,
A.
this
Hi
is better than
guys.
Tupac. Oh my God.
Hi guys. How are
Hey,
you?
lady. Thank you for coming through.
Oh yeah, no problem. No problem. Always
Did you
gotta
hear me
support.
butchering my Tupac?
I
You know,
I heard you reading it, and I was like, okay, it could be like a spoken word situation. Um
I like it. I like it. See,
yeah, it was
positive.
cool.
Be
It
more
was cool.
positive. Thank you for joining. Okay,
Nope.
Darwin. So what were you saying? And then Super Saiyan Wives, you can go. And then KA, give us your opinion on that.
So it's just funny how I've never heard anyone say Tupac was a simp or pandering to women not one time, but he's saying all the things that some of us men has been saying for a while, and we get called simps or we're pandering or we're trying to save the hoes and stuff like that. But everything he said was pretty much on point with what's going on in the world today. We have a big um, the division between the men and the women, and it seems like the men are in denial about what's really going on. I know everybody have their excuses and their reasons on why things are happening, but you know, it's happening. So what are we going to do about it? And I think the pointing of the finger up to the women is just ridiculous, especially when the women are doing most of the work after these men um, leave their family or get these women pregnant, whatever the case may be. The women are doing most of the work. So I think as men, we need to just listen to listen to these lyrics, take a look at what's going on in the world today, and just realize like these lyrics are really what's going on in a lot of these communities. It's not going on everywhere, of course, but in a lot of these communities and with a lot of these women and a lot of these relationships and a lot of these breakups, this is what's going on. So we need to take a big, long look at this and try to dissect this as much as we can and get to the problem. I think it all starts with the men because, we have a lot of power to shift things if we just utilize it right.
That was beautiful. I was gonna beatbox earlier so that Kenan had like a flow, but I thought, with the delay, it might not even do right. So, I didn't want to embarrass both of us. However, however, I don't know. I don't know if this is something new. I think this might just be like a cycle or a ripple effect. Because obviously Tupac saw something 20 years ago to make that kind of foreshadowing. So I think it's just a different kind of way misogyny noir or misogyny towards Black women is being presented. But I don't think. I mean, what they say is nothing new under the sun. I don't think that women were all of a sudden just these loved and respected creatures back then. I think women obviously were treated like second class citizens back then. Now we have bank accounts and we're fighting against those ideals. Well, we have more than making counts. My bad. But we are making progress to Darwin's point. We have agency now. We're not only having access to our financial successes, but also in the household having a voice and putting our foot down and things like that. And that is why we are leading in divorce. Unfortunately, get right or get left.
The bank
Okay.
accounts, the bank accounts is what's intimidating to me, and really, I think that's the biggest intimidation factor when it comes to these relationships. Is how much money you women are making, how educated you are, and that brings about a type of power that you all didn't have because you all didn't have your own money and all this education back in the day because you wasn't allowed to. And, like they say, money is power and knowledge is power. You know what I'm saying? So y'all getting both of them now. So and y'all getting power. Slowly but gradually, y'all getting a little bit more power politically and y'all get more respect in the communities too. And I don't think the men are able to keep up with that because they just don't want to step up. I believe wholeheartedly that men can overcome this battle if we just step up to the plate, lose this little ego and pride that we have, accept the fact that you women are capable and able to do the things that we are able to do. Mute.
Yeah, I hear you. KA, what do you have to say? What say you?
So, I think a lot of the same things that are happening now, just in general, have been happening for a long time. I think with the rise of social media, uh, people have been able to find, groups or spaces where they can speak about a specific thing and then have a whole lot of people agree with them. And I think that in and of itself causes certain issues to be magnified. Something that may be personal to someone, or something that maybe lots of people experience it, but it's not like the general rule. um People will get into a space where everyone feels the same way or thinks the same way, so then it'll kind of validate those feelings. So like with the Tupac lyrics, um there's been misogyny, for hundreds of years. There's been, and it's I'm just saying the Tupac lyrics because that's what we were just talking about. But like, none of these things are new. I think that the way people are looking at them are different, and gender roles and society has been kind of changing over time. So, things are different, but sometimes I hear talking points and I'm just like, what? People are like, women have been complaining about men on Oprah for however many years. And I'm like, so we don't remember B words ain't S words, but H words and T words?
Yeah, like what do you like? That's
Like
kind of what I'm always curious about. Like,
we don't remember Doggy Style, the album. Like we don't remember any. And I love that album. Shout outs to Snoop Dogg. I like
right?
it. But I'm just saying, like, people seem to forget that like women have been getting disrespected and having like negative stereotypes and whatnot in music and media for a very long time.
Mm.
um so it's not like, ooh, women were leading the pack at first, now men are taking back their rightful spot. Like, it's not that. And I think, I don't know. And especially when Black people, like when we as Black people start talking about certain things, I'm just like, oh my goodness, come on. We have bigger problems to worry about. But
Absolutely, absolutely. No, I always try to figure out where they like the rewrite of history and where it comes from, right? Like what was their experience growing up? Because I'm like, you didn't like, who were you around? Like, you didn't see what I saw. Like, I have no clue what you were watching. I don't know what neighborhoods you were in. I don't know where any of this stuff happened.
right,
So
yeah.
yeah, I'm always curious about that same thing. But I have another clip as a follow-up that I want to play, and it's about Tupac. It's really quick, and he just had a comment geared toward his upbringing and how he just wishes he could have been a better son to his mom. So let's just share that, and then we will discuss that once it's done. Let's see. Okay, I got it here.
I'm precious gold. Don't let anybody come in between you and the ones at the bottom of the bag. They are not up for grabs. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
What would a Vietnam vet be like without a sergeant, without any backup, without any other soldiers, nobody but a Vietnam vet in Vietnam? When he came home, how would he be? And that's me. I had to go through all that street, war, everything, the same drugs that everybody else get turned out on. Where I would have been stopped short, I made it past. And here's where I am. But because I made it past, I missed some lessons. You know what I'm saying? And you can see the lessons that I missed when you talk to me. You can see where I haven't had a father when you talk to me. You know what I'm saying? You can see where I spent a lot of my time in the streets when you talk to me. Because the words that I say are not words that come from a mother's mouth or a father's mouth. It's words that comes from a pimp's mouth or a prostitute or a hustler or a drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? But to me, these were my role models.
How much of that, though, in terms of growing up without a father, sometimes not being with your mother, do you lament on and look back and say, "Damn, I missed something big"?
Everything. I know for a fact that had I had a father, had I had someone, and I hate saying this because white people love hearing black people talk about this, but had I had a father, had I had some of these opportunities, I'd have been able to help my mother more. She wouldn't have went the road she went. I could have been a better son. You know what I'm saying? She wouldn't have went that road. It was the absence of my father. You know what I'm saying? I'm dealing with him being daddy not being there. My mother's dealing with him being my man not being there. You know, so many problems in our community that affect everything. So by me not having that, I ain't never want to hear nothing about no kind of relationships between a black man and a black woman. I knew they didn't work. Because as far as I knew, my daddy was the coolest dude out there. And my mama was a panther. So if they didn't work, it don't work. That's how I felt. You know what I'm saying? And going out there, you know what I'm saying? It's like watching my mother just go through changes and everything. It's like my mother's my partner. She's a soldier. You know, she's a soldier like I'm a soldier. You know, and I watched the game that she went through. If I would have went the same way my mother went, had not she did her route and showed me where it went wrong with her. My mother always told me, don't you ever just volunteer yourself to our people because they'll use you. That's what they do. You know what I'm saying? She also told me to follow my heart and for me to be the leader.
But it's interesting to see just the change in your face, your reaction, your thought process.
That's all I ever wanted to do. Ask my mama. I wanted to go to college. I went to school all the way and was ready to go to college. The only thing that stopped me was money. The time all the kids in my school was writing applications to go to college, I didn't have no lights and no electricity. And that ain't my mama's fault. You know what I'm saying? So when I think back to that, I'm not thugging for me. I'm thugging for my family. I pay all the bills. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. What do y'all think about that? How do we get from, it was the absence of my father. My mother did her best. It's not my mom's fault, to it's all my mom's fault. And it's all the single mother's fault, and school doesn't mean anything. Like, how do we go from that to where we are now, do you think? Who wants to start?
You go.
I do want to say, I've heard, I can't remember if it was like the 70s, but it was a while back, where it was the same kind of concept. Men and women were talking, black men and black women were talking about relationships, and black men were saying the same exact thing to a T. The black women are too educated. They won't just thug it out with us. They want to live in these high-rise, nice apartments. They want to just do right and live wherever we live in off nothing with us. So to my point earlier, I don't think this is something new. I think, again, there's nothing new under the sun. This is the same repeat pattern, which is why, like Kay said, it's funny that we hear now, oh, we're just now getting a voice, as if y'all haven't been saying so much for so long before. But I don't think I don't know. Like I said, it could be a cycle. It could just be the wave of men that are getting the microphone now. Because, I mean, I don't know. I won't say the R&B time was any better because they were kind of, pimpish as well. So I think we should just, keep working on being, more inclusive and open-minded.
Yeah, Supreme, I agree with what you're saying. I think that, in terms of that whole, like, men are just now getting a voice or whatever. I think that it's not just men. I think regular people are starting to get a voice, right? Whereas it used to be like musicians or talk show hosts or someone that had access, like, to be in the media or on TV somewhere, on the radio somewhere. 30 years ago, this, like what we're doing right now, wasn't happening. So now it's not just, oh, men are finally getting a voice. It's average men or any regular man or any average regular woman or any gender now has the ability to turn on their computer or get on any social media platform on their phone or whatever and say how they think or what they feel or whatever, whether or not it's based in any type of like truth or any objective thought at all. But that's how you can build, a group of people around you that are going to agree or disagree. Like sometimes people disagree, but like it's not just men getting a voice. It's not just women getting a voice. It's the fact that anyone, any person, there are literally little kids on YouTube making like millions of dollars reviewing toys. That wouldn't have happened 40 years ago. There was no YouTube. So people are just, I mean, we have to understand that times are changing, things are changing, technology is increasing. But I don't think we should fall on it as like some kind of I don't know, crutch, like, well, y'all were doing this for all this time and now we finally get to talk. Like, no, none of us got to talk. That was only a very specific, like, elite group of people. And honestly, if we look at media, most of them at the start of talk shows were men. People like seem to forget that. They think talk shows started with Oprah. Oprah had to do a lot to get where she got as a woman, because before that, men were really saturating that space. So I just think that the whole thing is really strange when I hear those arguments that people make, and I don't know. But yeah. Mm.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. That is so true. Like most of the talk shows definitely were men, right? And the media was definitely dominated by men for a long time. But I think I definitely agree with you that it was it's less of a narrative that's able to be spun when just anybody can speak. So like everybody is just sharing their experience. So I definitely agree with you on that. What about you, Darwin? You're on mute.
That last clip, I loved everything he said because it really hit home. How he talked about the being with his single mother, and he obviously felt like she did everything she could, and and when things went wrong, no lights and gas in the house, he didn't blame her. He had enough awareness, and I don't know if he thought like that when he was younger, as a kid growing up, because all the struggles I went through with my mother when I was growing up, I never thought about it. I just thought that was life. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what happens. And I never blamed my mother. I never blamed anybody. It wasn't until I got maybe 2 years ago when I started, looking at my father differently and resenting him for some of the things that I went through with my mother. You know what I'm saying? But and that's not to say that I lost any love for my father or anything like that. But I just start realizing what a man is supposed to do, and why a man is necessary to be in the house. You know what I'm saying? Them little things. You know what I'm saying? Just that little bit of help that a woman could have from a man being in the house also, And never once did I hear Tupac just say, oh, my mother picked the wrong guy. She shouldn't have picked the Pookie or Rayway. He didn't blame her at all for his father's mistakes or his father leaving, because it's not the woman's fault when a man leaves. If you want to blame somebody, blame the couple together. They just couldn't make it work. You know what I'm saying? And that's life. Sometimes people can't cohabitate. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, that man still has a duty to those children. And I feel like a man still has a duty to that woman who he invested all this time in, and who she lost a lot of time investing into, right? Like, I feel obligated to help my kid's mother out. You know what I'm saying? If I can. Just because we're not in a relationship together, that does not mean like she's my enemy or nothing. She's still a friend. She's a family. She's taking care of my daughter. They take care of my son. Yes, I'm gonna look out for them. And it's just a lot of disconnect with these men and how they view women. Just not in a relationship. Just friendships or just business in a workplace. I think men just need to start looking at women as they equal. And I know a lot of men just probably cringe their teeth when I just said that. Oh, equal, that a woman can't do what I do, but they can. You know what I'm saying? And y'all can always make these look crazy scenarios about a time I did this and a woman couldn't do that. But guess what? There's also scenarios when a woman did this and a man couldn't. So that means nothing. and I just loved everything he said, man. He just took accountability. He put everything on his father, and like men supposed to do. If we supposed to be leaders, we supposed to take that, and eat it and come out stronger and make everything better around us. We ain't supposed to be pointing fingers and having this pity party and playing a victim. That's some weak shit to me.
Okay. Well, why do you suppose so many men, or from what you've seen, do you think that there's a lot of men who don't feel like there's an obligation to the woman once the relationship ends, whether they have children with them or not?
because these men have feelings too.
Mm-hmm.
They be bitter. They be heartbroken. They be mad. They be sad. They be want. I truly believe a lot of these men do want a family. They do want that wife. But the communication is off. They don't know how to get it because
Mm.
they didn't see their father fighting for their mother. They didn't see their father sticking it out. So now they just doing what they saw without any understanding of what's going on.
Okay.
Can
All right.
I ask
Yeah.
y'all a question?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, recently on a show, I was asked, what would I recommend for a man who didn't have like a father figure or any like strong male presence in his life? There were some people who were basically saying like they would send them to podcasts like Fresh and Fit or things like that. I said that wouldn't be my opinion. I said, there are plenty of therapists that specialize in trauma, loss, abandonment, just different things. If you don't have any of those strong male figures around you. So Darwin, as a man, what would you recommend for a man or like a young man to seek out if he doesn't have that strong male infrastructure around him in terms of family and friends and things like
That's
that?
a good question. That's a good question.
I strongly encourage young men to join a sports team. And I know it might be discouraging, but just join. Even if you sit on the bench, it's just being around other guys, other men, that camaraderie, that team play, that getting in shape, building confidence. You know what I'm saying? Like just do that. If you don't have a male figure around, join a team, any team, baseball, football, basketball, tennis, bowling. You know what I'm saying? I know a young man who got a scholarship bowling. He loves it. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of opportunity out there, and you still bonding with men your age and a older man. So you getting both the best of both worlds. You getting friends. You learning things. You learn how to interact with guys and stuff like that. And maybe you can start to share some emotions with these guys if you call them close friends and learn how to open up. So you can learn how to so you can open up better when you're talking to women, because I think that's the problem. A lot of men just don't know how to open up to women and they get frustrated. And that's when the communication goes off. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't even open up with ourselves to each other. So of course we're not about to be displaying our feelings with women, and we can't even do that amongst people that we're really comfortable with. You know what I'm saying? I think men are more comfortable with other men when talking about everyday things and stuff like that and things that they go through, except when it's come to their feelings. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's because it's just a lack of confidence. And confidence is supposed to be instilled at an early age. You can't get to your early 20s, late 20s, and think you can go be this confident guy. And I see a lot of old men who talk tough and try to act like they tough, but I can see it's no confidence in the words that they saying. And it's just sad. So I just encourage these young men and these women to put their kids, their young boys in sports, and if they just make them go. Don't let them quit. If they try to quit, just give them some type of incentive to stay in it. You know what I'm saying? Like just try your hardest to keep them around some type of male influences. Even if it's not a sports team, chess team, debate team. Get them involved in something that's gonna build their confidence. That's gonna have them checking off wins more than losses. You know what I'm saying? And it's just all about checking off wins. The more wins that they check off in life, the more confident they're going to be. Even if it's just completing a book. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you complete this book. That's a win for you. That's a W. You know what I'm saying? So And I think once you get these kids involved in something, and they motivated to do something, they start accomplishing things. They go like that feeling. You know what I'm saying? They go like the feeling. They just don't know how it feels. So once they get that first little taste of winning, they go want to win.
That's a really good answer. That was
Yep.
a really good answer.
Yep, I like that. That's good stuff. So I have a guest that's coming up. Let's see. Welcome, Rush. How are you?
I'm
Rush to the
salute to you
building.
in the panel. What up?
Yes,
What up? What up?
yes.
Hi.
What did you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, like, from what Pac was saying, there's some type of validity to that. Know what I mean, but we also have to recognize at the from like I think like either the early '60s and '70s, like that there was a movement where women within our community was promoting that single motherhood is the way to go. You know what I mean?
Wait. So along first of all, if we're talking about women promoting single womanhood, are we also single motherhood, sorry. Are we going to also talk about the things that men were promoting at a certain point in time and still in music and media and whatnot? I'm just
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just trying
listen,
to get
like
this.
none of this stuff is good, you know. It's you know, not good for the community, period, you know. But I'm just acknowledging that. I'm not just, you know, dismissing it, you know.
I people
But do you
acknowledge
think
it,
It's
that
but
cool.
do you
when
think
people
that women were promoting it, or it was a response to being single
Yeah,
mothers?
I mean,
right.
I wish I could like, you know, put up your video, but the video I've seen from the early either '60s or '70s. I think it was the early '70s or mid '70s. I wish I could pull up the video, but this is not my platform. I can only speak about it. But you know things like that. You know was going on in the past where it did you know cause a ripple effect where you know like single motherhood got even worse. You know.
Right. What I'm asking, I think I know the video that you're alluding to. It was
I do
like a
too.
documentary that they did on like a project. I think it was like it was in Chicago or New York or something like that. It was like a housing project, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, the question becomes, do you think they were promoting it, or were they responding to the reality of not expecting the men to be around, or the men just not being around?
I mean, yeah. I mean, yes, yeah. I guess because they've been dealing with that for quite a bit, there is a form of resentment towards the male counterpart. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, fair.
I was thinking. I saw something the other day, and I was like, it amazes me how you know. I was just thinking like women could be great mothers without wanting or dreaming about being married or in a relationship. I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? I always felt like you know you should want a baby because you found the man that you want a baby with. But now I'm starting to feel like whether I'm married or not, I still pride myself in being a father. You know,
Right, and that's not good. I mean, well, I mean, being a father, being present for the child is good, but for the female to, let me revise my statement. It was a mistake, but uh, the female should not be so quick to raise a child on her own. She should, you know, I guess, vet out the partner correctly, have some sort of
Right.
discernment, and you know, rely on building a nuclear family with her male counterpart. I mean,
yeah, of course. Yeah, I definitely agree. I don't think anybody should like that. I don't think that's the goal for nobody. I don't think these single women, and that's the way like men present it. Like these single women, that's their goal. I don't think no woman was like, I'm about to go trick a dude and have a baby with so I can be a single mother. I think it's vice versa. I know, and a lot of men, don't, like I said, I say things that men don't want to hear. But it's not the women that's tricking themselves into being a single mother. That's just not happening. It's the men that's promising these women all these things. Oh, you my boo, you my wifey. I'ma do this. I'ma protect you and this and that. And then when
Right.
things go
And
bad,
I
when
do,
things go bad,
I
they
do,
disappear. And not only do they leave the woman, they stop being the greatest father that they was when they was in the house. And that's what's really happening. These dudes don't understand that these $300 checks that they send them for child support is not sufficient enough to call yourself a good father. That's just the bottom line of it. You know,
right. But
all them, yeah. You can go.
we have to factor in post nut clarity. A lot of dudes. I know this sounds crazy, but just let me get to the point, Super Saiyan. All right, let me finish. A lot of dudes they are subservient to their lust, man. My man, and they would do certain things to get to the box
And
by
that's
any
not
means
good.
necessary. Yeah, you know what I mean? And females have to recognize this. Like, yo, a dude would do anything just to, you know what I mean, get a piece of that peace leave. And
Or maybe men need
once,
to control that. Maybe men need to control that.
no,
Maybe the
I
onus,
yeah,
maybe the
I agree.
onus should be
I
on
agree
women.
with you on that. Yes, I agree with you on that. But let me finish. Um, you know, females got to be aware. Like, yo, once that nut come through, that primal instinct goes away, and there's a pivotal moment when that nut comes out. He realizes that he don't really like you like that, and he's just gonna yeah, I mean, do what he does until that urge builds back up. I mean, and females should be aware of that.
But
Uh,
that's why it's called a trick. That's why it's called manipulation. The woman actually thinks the man is going to be different from the other men because of
Yeah,
the
I
things
agree.
that he does at the
Yeah, yeah,
beginning.
I know. And
Right.
you didn't catch what I said earlier. Like a dude that's trying to get the box, he's gonna do anything. I'm not condoning this, but this is reality. This is how most men move. Know what
Yeah,
I
but
mean?
what I'm saying is this has nothing to do with the woman at all. Because a man is not being himself. Because a man is doing everything he can. How is a woman supposed to know that, okay, this man is treating me so good, he's a gentleman. So she's supposed to say, fuck all this stuff you just did for me. I'm not fucking with you. If women start doing that, men would go crazy, and in a murder rate would go up. Because as many times these men have lashed out on these women for dissing them and telling them they ain't shit, and these women getting found in garbage cans and lakes and stuff like that. And if a woman just was like taking all these gifts and taking all these advances that the man is giving, and then after 3 months she decided, nah, I ain't fucking with you because I know what you about. You just trying to get the box. It'd be World War III. So women have to take a chance, just like men have to take a chance, and it's a risk when you're dealing with people. And that's the risk that everybody has to take, and you can't blame the risk on the woman because she got manipulated at all. Like she's a hundred percent
It's
absolved
well.
from that.
Let me say this. It's imperative for the female to tap into her natural intuitive nature to discern whether or not if this dude's gonna stick around, because yo, at the end of the day she's stuck with that situation. Know what I mean?
Right.
But
And you
So
that's
got
this
why
is
dude,
women have started
Rush.
embracing
Oh
the
my
fact of
goodness.
being good mothers instead of being good wives.
yo,
Because
listen,
guess
Rush.
what?
listen, I don't know if you're not catching what I'm saying. Like, yo, none of this shit is good. None of this shit is right. I'm not condoning this shit. You know what I mean?
no, he's catching
I,
it. He's just responding to say that the answer can't be what you're saying as far as like vetting and all that, because if you're being manipulated, then how do you vet a manipulation? He's saying that that is the reason why, since men choose to behave that way and continue to behave that way, and you're saying that they're not going to stop, they're saying that they're not going to stop,
Right? Do you
then
want
women
women
are
to
just
just
like,
do you want women to just stop fucking with men? Because that's the scenario that you're placing. Like, okay, men just go do this. Well, in response, if women was like, since men just go be men and do this, we just go stop fucking with y'all. Now that's the best case for women, and
But then
that's the
the
worst
woman.
case for men. You see what
But
I'm
then,
saying? Like, yeah, if a
right, but I mean, what you're talking about is not even feasible. Like, that's not gonna
exactly.
happen.
So, but what's
Yeah.
feasible is men stop lying and manipulating women and just, be some gentlemen and be truthful. Like, yeah, I was fucking with you. I don't. I really just like you, because you got a
But
nice body and
hold
I
on.
want to fuck. Men,
We do have to factor in that most women are attracted to men that's emotionally unavailable. I mean, this is appealing to
Okay.
the modern day female. I mean,
So, Kay, what were you gonna add, Kay?
Oh my goodness. Like while listening to Rush, you know, and I be in these spaces. So I've heard these types of arguments before. The thing is, you cannot utilize certain talking points when they're beneficial and then throw them out the window when they're not. How
Mhm.
are you going to confidently say, well, this is just how men are and women need to understand? But I guarantee, I don't even have to know you, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. Do you think that women have certain traits about themselves the same way that men have certain traits about themselves based on what you were just saying, Rush?
there's behavioral patterns that you would
Okay.
notice.
Okay. So that would you say that women, the same way a man, whatever you just said, they're gonna try to get with somebody, regardless. That's just how it's gonna go. Would you say that women sometimes might fall for that manipulation if someone's treating them really well and all that? Do you think that women like naturally do that in your opinion?
Here's the thing, and
No,
I see. I,
please just
I,
answer what I just asked.
I'm about to answer it.
Okay.
Like you know, I mean, okay, yeah, maybe some women will fall for it, but if there's a
Okay.
large percentage of, hold on, let me just finish.
No, wait, because you gave the answer. So you said, yeah, maybe a large percentage of women would fall for it. The same thing goes for men and women. There's a large percentage of men who are out here just doing whatever, but there are also many, many men who aren't. Same thing with women. There are plenty of women who are out here just falling for anything, and there are plenty of women that aren't. Same thing for men and women. I'm saying that it's illogical for you to excuse it and say that's just how men are. But then when it's women, say, man, no, y'all got to be ahead of the game. You got to do this, you got to do that. When, especially if you want men to be seen as the leaders, y'all should be some of the most discerning people there are. You can't have it both ways where you're like, you know what? We're going to go out and do this and be irresponsible and make babies and leave them and do whatever, but the woman should know
Yeah,
better.
but
You
here's the
can't
thing,
do
like
that unless you're also going to acknowledge that
I
it's
am
the same on
acknowledging
both sides.
both sides of this. Like I think I've been pretty neutral the whole
No,
entire
you haven't because
time we've been conversing.
you haven't because you came straight on talking about women promoting single motherhood
Not
without saying,
that's just one factor. I'm not saying that's the end all be all, but I'm not gonna dismiss what I've seen. You know
well,
what I
what?
mean?
Okay, let's
I
do this then.
just
Let's do
right.
this. What have you seen from men? Let's see if you're objective. What have you seen from men?
And
Like
can
what if you can generalize women and say women have been promoting
I'm not
you
generalizing
said you
women.
did. You said women
I'm
were promoting.
talking about the video clip I'm talking about. I told you it's not the end all be all. It's not that's
Okay,
not every case scenario.
okay,
I mean,
give me a video clip that you've seen where men were doing something that you didn't agree with that's being promoted.
Well, it was a man in that video clip. So, do you want to speak to that in that same clip? It was also a man in there.
See, people only want to see it one way and then wonder why people like have pushback. Y'all don't even be believing what you say you believe. Like it's very, very biased. It's giving subject.
I think that's pretty unfair for you to say that. You don't even know me. We
I
just
don't.
met each other today.
Yeah, but you came straight out the gate talking about women did this, even though literally like all genders of people do
Yo,
all.
you taking it the wrong way, man. Like that's. I mean, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but
No,
I'm not here
don't
to win and
don't
bash.
patronize
You know
me.
what I mean? Like I've been
You don't have to
neutral about the
sorry that I feel
situation.
that way. You don't have to do that. I'm being very objective. I'm not being emotional at all. You don't have to be sorry that I feel any kind of way. I don't feel any kind of way. I am going by things that you are directly saying here on this panel tonight. I don't know you. I don't feel any type of way. So you don't have to do that. I'm asking you about things that you said, and now you're deflecting by talking about how I feel. How I feel has nothing to do with this because I don't feel anything. I'm having an objective conversation with a stranger online based on what the stranger said. The stranger is you. So I'm just trying to see if you're one-sided or if you're fair. And so far it seems very one-sided, because I'm asking you directly, what are the things that men have done? Because you already said, we've seen women out here promoting whatever. What are the things that men have done? I'm just trying to see if you have it from both ends, like both directions. If not, then it's biased.
What?
Listen, like obviously, it's there's an issue within the whole dynamic between the male and female. This is nothing new.
So what's the
What
issue from
I've
the
seen,
man's
what men.
perspective? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm about to give my perspective on the man side. Obviously, there's a lot of fathers absentee within our community, and that's an issue. I recognize that that's a problem, and um, from the last stream y'all did, I was pretty straightforward about how important having a nuclear family is. You know what I mean?
So what do you suppose
And
men need
you
to do to address that? Like you said that what women need to do is vet. So what do men need to do to address being absentee fathers?
um they, I mean, as far like should okay, if you're not ready to be a father, you should use protection. Um, when I say protection, use a condom. And if you're not ready to have a child, you should practice abstinence. You shouldn't irresponsibly impregnate multiple women. It's not a good thing.
Hmm. So woman should vet and a man should use a condom or not have sex.
You know what the biggest
Yeah,
thing
if
I
he's not
think?
ready to have a child, yeah.
The biggest thing, like the solution I think that men should do is be straight honest with women. Like if you just want to bone, just tell them that I promise you a lot of these situations that men get themselves involved in is because they just not being truthful. If they just be like, listen here, they meet a woman, hey, you have a banging body. I just want to see what that thing look like. I just want to see what you working with. And they go run into a lot of women who just want to have some casual sex too. Protect yourselves and go on about your business. But a lot of times you see these men because they don't want to see women talking to other guys. They try to cuff them. They try to cuff everybody. They try to cut, knowing damn well they don't want to be with these women, knowing they don't want to start a family with these women, but they cuffing them, selling them these dreams. I love you, this and that. I'm gonna do this. And then when they get them pregnant and they don't want to be in the house with them every day, they leave. Like, just be honest. You can go out and have casual sex, and that's what it is. Don't try to cuff the woman just because you just got you pussy whipped or you got this ego about yourself. Let her be. You know what I'm saying? Let her be for the streets or what they want to call it. See, then they try to shame the women, say, "Oh, she for the streets." So what? You was too. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what you do. You have go out and have fun. If you find somebody you want to bone, you present them with the offer. If they say no, that's just what it is. If they say yes, have a nice night. If she want to continue with it, okay, cool. But you don't have to do all this cuffing and lying and then getting her pregnant and now you mad because you're on child support and now you saying she should have picked better. This is crazy.
I also have a question too, though. What if they were ready to be fathers, but then the relationship doesn't work out? Then what advice do you give to men, or if the relationship is difficult or it gets tough?
This what I was saying before. Like, pride yourself on something. You know what I'm saying? Have some type of respect for yourself. Do you want to be a good father? Be a good father. You don't have to be with this woman to be a good father. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of men don't want to let that woman go, so they use that as control. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do this. I do this if you go out with me, if you give me some sex, if I can still control you a little bit, I'll be more in my kid's life. And a lot of men do that. You know what I'm saying? This shit is crazy to me. Just pride yourself on being a father. You don't have to be a boyfriend. You don't have to be a good boyfriend, a good father, a good husband. But you can be a good father. No one is stopping you from being a good father. You can always blame a woman for you not being a good husband to a good boyfriend. I'm like, well, she's difficult to talk to, or she doesn't want to give me sex, or she's disrespectful, or she's talking to somebody else. You can always say that, but there's no excuse for you not to be a good father. Nothing in the world for you to say to not be a good father. Nothing.
Okay. What do you say, Rush?
Um, I mean, to a certain degree, I understand with you know, Darwin's statement. You know what I mean? I could, empathize with, where he's coming from with that. I mean,
Okay. Supreme Super Saiyan Wives, you got anything to add? Or are you still there? Or she might be taking a break. Okay, there you go. Did you want to add anything before we go into the next?
I have missed so much of it. Unfortunately, I had a call from somebody. I'm trying to do two things at once and get paid for them. So
Don't nobody care about your personal problems.
I know, right? I wish I had heard the exchange between you guys because it was getting so good between Rush and Darwin, but I had to mute you guys. It was getting a little too reckless in background.
Well, bottom line, the conclusion was you ain't shit.
I knew it. I knew as soon as I hit mute, y'all was gonna be trash talking. Y'all can't handle the Supreme saying energy.
Well, it's about to get, I think, even better and more interesting and real juicy once I play this video. Now, I don't know who all saw this viral moment, but there was a viral video that went viral from a Black female therapist. And the way she was speaking earned her a lot of backlash. She got doxxed, like all her information got put out there. And ultimately it ended up in her getting fired from her job. So I'm going to play the video in question. Then we can talk about it. And then I will probably play, because she did a couple of apology videos. And I just want to get you guys' thoughts on it. So let me get this here and let's play it.
A couple days ago, Psychology Today released this article about the rise of lonely single men.
Please, with all your spirit gusto, go click back on that video. I've been telling y'all motherfuckers that y'all are going to be single for the rest of your fucking life if you do not increase your emotional communication skills, emotional intelligence, or any of these things. The Psychology Today article that my good sis is referencing is nothing but proof that these podcast alpha male bullshit ass father issue having ass motherfuckers is forcing y'all to a lifetime of singleness. I keep seeing on this bullshit ass app that women have these poor attitudes and all this other bullshit when men truly just need to extend their emotional vocabulary so they can flourish and have meaningful, healthy relationships. But instead, y'all listening to these Kevin Samuel ass motherfuckers and it's leaving you 50 and alone. Fix it.
A couple days ago, Psychology Today released.
Okay. What do you guys think of that?
Okay. I didn't know if anyone was trying to go first. I felt like I kept kind of talking a lot earlier. But
no, you're fine.
So, I didn't see the video originally. I just saw that she had been fired and all this stuff. And then I went and watched the video. And, the whole like cursing and stuff, like I'm not into that online. But I don't see why that would be a fireable offense at all. Yeah, I don't see. I mean, she gave her opinion about a subject. And, sometimes people like want to heavily, I guess, like judge people about, their professions or how they should be as a certain profession. But the thing is, I mean, every person has opinions. Mm-hmm. Like you can be a therapist, a doctor, a teacher, whatever. As long as it's not something like discriminatory, like, or racist or like something like way left field, I don't think anybody should be getting fired for what she said. All she said is men need to expand their emotional vocabulary and seek therapy instead of podcasts. Like what?
Well, yeah, that was the message.
That was blasphemy.
I you know me, I my mouth is reckless. So I heard the cursing, it didn't really bother me. But when I thought about who was doing the cursing and what profession she was in, I was like, yeah, she should have got fired. And not saying like I'm happy that she got fired or nothing like that, but she was very unprofessional. And you have to think about it. Yes, everybody has their opinion, but she's in a field where you're not supposed to have an opinion. I've been in counseling and with therapy. My therapist never had an opinion.
Right,
Never
but that's
told,
during a therapy session.
yeah, but
Outside therapy session, your therapist is a regular person that has
Yeah,
opinions
but we have to
about.
factor in the HIPAA law. You can't be talking about people's personal business out in the open like that.
He
There's
wasn't
laws
She
that
didn't
talking
protect
say
people's
about. He
anybody's
opinions.
wasn't
personal
talking
well,
about
business.
people's
yeah,
personal
she
business.
wasn't talking about nobody's
He was
I don't
personal
know who
talking
she was
business.
about a
talking about.
study that was
But at the
done
same time,
by psychology.
is this somebody I want working for my clinic that's talking like this? So
I can
me,
understand that.
huh?
I can understand
Yeah,
that for
because
sure.
now you got people looking at you like, especially men, like you probably just wiped off half of your clients now because the way you just talked about these frail men. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if you know these men have these frail egos, you can't go out and be saying stuff like that. They not gonna even listen to you now because they gonna feel like you're biased, but you're really not. You're
Yeah.
just telling the truth. Like you said, you're telling the truth, but they're gonna feel you're biased. So now they're you losing business. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I agree with the firing. I'm sad that it happened because she was telling the truth. I agree with her what she was saying, but at the same time, she wasn't supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? She can't do
I
what
think we're
everybody do.
forgetting that she responded to an article. It's not like she dreamt this up out of thin air. She
Right.
responded to a psychology article, meaning
You
that
would
it
never
was
see Miss
studied
Jovo do that.
and presented.
You would never see Miss Jovo do that.
Anyway, she was responding to a psychology article. She had actual, statistical backings behind what she was saying. It may have been colorful. I'll give it that. The language was colorful. However, you see, just like you said, Darwin, about sports teams. Coaches talk to players like that all the time, and nobody calls it abuse. Nobody says that, they shouldn't be talking to kids like that. You don't want them helping your kids. It's the same concept. Why can't I give you that same, coach tough love mentality on the
Well,
therapy
because
side?
no, pause.
No, I don't agree with it, but some people
Super, hold
like
on.
that.
Supreme Super Saiyan wife. I know good and well you know that you are a lady and your mouth must never speak those types of nasty, nasty words.
I don't think she's trying to be a super supreme Saiyan wife.
Now,
If
I
she
get what you're
was, she would
saying.
take my courses for $1,800.
Now a coach, if a coach is coaching and he's getting loud and you know what I'm saying, get your ass up in there. Yeah, you can talk to me like because you're coaching. But a coach could never come to my house for dinner and my son comes downstairs and he sees something that my son don't like and be like, get your ass nah.
But
This ain't the basketball field.
Darwin, that lady didn't go to anyone's house for dinner. That was her own.
She's just on TikTok.
Yeah.
That's all she was doing. She was just on TikTok.
Well, I think but the thing is, let me clarify. I think from what I researched and I saw that a few of the main reasons why she ended up getting fired wasn't because she's been doing this, like she's had this TikTok page for a long time. She's had like over 150,000 subscribers, and she's very unorthodox, I would say, in the way that she speaks and communicates anyway, which I mean, I can appreciate because I'm a hood ass bitch. So I like it. Sometimes you can be very, you got to be proper and have this one face on all the time. But I mean, if you're really a thug, then just go ahead and say it. It's okay. But a lot of times us as women, I feel we're not allowed to be, our thug selves, we want to because it's unladylike. But the other part is, I think from what I saw, she ended up getting fired mostly because she was doxxed. So her place of employment was put out there and they were getting like all kinds of threats and all this other stuff. So it was more of like a safety thing than it was like, oh, you're unprofessional and you can't have this up there. Like she's been doing this for a long time. So it wasn't a problem before that she was like doing this to these TikToks because she always talks like that. Mm-hmm. It was that the stuff that she was saying, the certain group that got a hold of it that didn't want to hear it, was sending all them threats and all that stuff. And
half the men she was talking about, like I said. So you have to
watch. Hold up, but it was another female that put her on blast for her to get fired. It wasn't
that's what I was gonna say, Rush.
The red pill, it was a woman that the red pill community.
She doxed her. Yeah, she put all her information out there. So yeah.
And they start getting hate mail and shit like that.
Yeah. So that's what ended up happening.
Yeah, that's the only part I'm saying about because of the profession that she was in, not because of what she was saying or how she was saying. I'm all for that, but even my wife, even she doesn't say some things online because of her job and her reputation and the people she deal with and stuff like that. So I think everybody has to hold themselves to a standard when they doing certain things. It's sad that it
I
went
think the
that route
reason
for her. But
the
you have to be aware of things that might happen when you go online. Like these comedians, they say things and they get we ain't go they get on the on what's the list called?
What?
When they be like we not gonna watch it no more and stuff like that, they call it the what?
Canceled?
Yeah, they get canceled. You know what I'm saying? So she just got canceled. Just like a lot of these other celebrities, when they do something, they want to cancel them, and that's what happened. She rubbed some people wrong, and that's the cost of being on the internet and being on YouTube, and it's that sometimes it's gonna backfire on you. You know what I'm saying? So you got to watch what you say about
I'm
certain.
gonna play her. I'm gonna play her apology, and then we'll offer more commentary after that.
Hello. I would like to make a video addressing my recent video calling for men to go to therapy. Now, I will say that, firstly, I would like to apologize for the colorful language that I used, but I want to express where I'm coming from. So, as a clinician, my job is not to make people change. My job is to plant seeds and help my clients water the soil and cultivate it so they have a thriving environment to grow. That is my job. Now, from a human standpoint, I entered this field because I saw a dire need for Black mental health and Black mental health professionals, because I was not always met with support. So I apologize to individuals if you felt like my language was colorful, but I want you to know more deeply where I come from. A few people have called into question my Blackness, which is to be expected. My personhood is questioned quite often. I chose to go into mental health because only 4% of clinicians are Black, yet there's 13% of Black individuals in America. So there's already a huge disparity. And I have made it my life's work to help fill that gap. Now, where my frustration comes in is I called for individuals to do better, but then my job got doxxed. I understand that people may not agree with my delivery or the things that I'm saying, but a major boundary has been crossed. I'm so passionate in my words because I'm tired of seeing men suffer. I'm tired of seeing you guys endure so much hurt and so much trauma and refusing to do anything about it when you guys have the power to do it. As a clinician, my job is to motivate and empower, and it came across angry and aggressive because as a Black woman, I'm also tired of being hurt. I'm tired of being hurt by the very entity that I love the most, which is the Black man. I have made it my life's work, dedicated myself to encouraging and uplifting Black people.
Okay. What do we think about that?
Hey, that right there. All I was thinking about, if she was a judge, all them Black men are guilty. That's all I thought about. When she said, "I'm human," and I just thinking about because all the hurt that I've been. If she was a judge, every Black dude that came to that court is guilty. That's how I feel it should be, because she's going to be biased and impartial to them, and that's how I felt. That's why she got fired.
Okay.
So in this day and age, people are going to do apologies whether they mean them or not, and I don't know if she meant it or not. I don't know if she was, her back was against the wall or whatever. I don't know, and I'm not going to say. I have no idea. I just think that it's so interesting that a lot of the same people who are against cancel culture Oh my goodness. We should be able to say whatever we want about certain communities or certain people or women or whatever. And no one should ever do anything or say anything. As soon as something comes up that they don't like, it's let's get this person fired. So like again, the root issue that I see is that people do not believe what they think they believe, and they're being indoctrinated and controlled by internet talking points. Like it's so evident. I guarantee that many of the people who were the most mad and calling for her to get fired and all this other stuff would then turn around and say that people talking about women or LGBTQIA plus community or trans people or whoever, they would say we should be able to say whatever we want. But then when it's hers, let's call the authorities. Like, you have to stand on something. You have to believe in something. Either you believe in cancel culture or you don't. And I just don't like the flip-flopping. I think that's why a lot of people don't get the respect they think they deserve, because they don't stand firmly on anything. They go back and forth when it's convenient. And I think like just this whole thing was another example of that, because there are plenty of people who have done and said way worse than anything she has done or said, and are still walking around. So yeah, it's just very biased.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of disingenuous too. Like, it's not necessarily that I think it was like super professional, or I just think
Me either.
that people are ideologically inconsistent. Like, I definitely agree with you, Kay, because I can look at the situation and I will say that for me personally, I definitely do understand that once you do or say something that can impact your job, then that, like, it happens every day, and I don't necessarily disagree with it, right? Because again, I think private businesses have a right to decide who represents them and how they represent them. So I'm consistent on that, right? So I don't feel a way like because she got fired because of what she was saying online.
Right.
I don't think that that's necessarily the most unfair thing to happen, right?
Right.
But it is the point of, like you said, the people who are the ones leading the charge are the same. Delivery doesn't matter. Cancel culture
Exactly.
sucks. You're always trying to silence people, and you just
Exactly.
don't want to hear what people have to say because you just don't like what they're saying. And it's like those same people are like, oh my God, look at what she said. The language. She
Exactly.
should be fired. And it's just like, really? And like you said, people are not ideologically consistent, and the question is, what are your values? Like, what are your principles, or are you principled at all? And I don't think that they're principled. I think a lot of people just go with whatever makes them feel better in the moment at the time.
Yep, exactly. I agree with that 100%. Because like you said, companies can make decisions based on whatever, and sometimes it's fair, sometimes it's not. You can fight back if it's not. That's like a whole different side of the game. But in terms of the audiences and the people leading the charges, you said, yes. So, and y'all have never heard me out here online cursing up a storm, because I understand. Like, I get that. And I'm not into that, and I don't think people should really be doing that, in my opinion. But that's my opinion. But like, yeah, the inconsistency is what I think is very problematic from like the audiences and the people that are watching. People.
Yeah. My girl Jovo says, I've been a therapist 16 plus years, never had to get that raw to motivate change, but was she venting or motivating? I think she was venting. That's what it seemed like to me.
I think so too. I think she was venting as well.
Yeah.
She need to vent with her friends offline.
I guess social outrage is a certain type of currency. She's obviously got views from doing this for, numerous of times. It's just now she's stepping on her own toes. She's been doing it for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But no, that speaks to what you guys were saying about the consistency, because again, these guys love grabbing by the pussy trunk. And it's so strange because now we have people tone policing Black women, For really anything we say, it seems like. Good Lord.
Yeah, I think that he was venting. I think that it is interesting too. Again, I think a large part of it is that people don't like to see women doing certain things. I think that people don't like to see women using profanity. I think they don't like to see women speaking that way and being aggressive at all. Like, I think that they just don't like to see it. Like, they think that it's not a thing that you're supposed to experience in a woman. So they don't like it. I also think that it's like the same thing when Kay brought up earlier, doggy style and like all of those rap lyrics from before, with a lot of them being spearheaded by the one and only Snoop Dogg. And when Meg the Stallion and Cardi B came out with WAP, he also led the charge on how over sexualized these women are and how, this wasn't good for the children and like all of these things. Snoop Lion, Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style Snoop, Girls Gone Wild, While I'm Married Snoop. All of a sudden was just very taken aback at all these raunchy women doing all these sexual things and rapping about sex and oh my God, what's wrong with these women? And
do you guys remember when Uncle Luke had that show?
What was
with his daughter? He was like a reality show, and he was talking about how he was raising his daughter, and she can't have sex before marriage, and she can't have a boyfriend over, and all this stuff. And everybody was like, "Didn't you make like the '69 boys? Weren't you going around talking about Doodoo Brown, like scrub?" It's amazing. It's that rewriting of history for me.
Yeah, I just think that it does just go back to, I think that easily if that were a like male therapist that was like yelling and cursing like that, I don't think it would have gotten the traction
that's why I brought up football. They
I don't
love
think somebody
it.
would have really batted much of an eye about it. Like, but I think that it was jarring. And again, I think that to Darwin's point, I think that it did make men feel that way. I think that was an honest answer, right? But the question is, sometimes we do need to investigate why certain things make us feel a certain way, and then like investigate if it's reality or if it's just through the lens of our experience and how we feel. And I think that was a very honest and transparent thing, because I think it did make a lot of men feel like that.
And that is the I agree with you. If it was a man saying that stuff about women, I don't think anybody would have said anything. You know what I'm saying? It probably got a lot of views and stuff like that if he was like that entertaining. But as far as the professional backlash with it and affecting the company, I don't think anybody been writing his job and all this other.
I disagree. Stuff. I disagree. For example, Andrew Tate, he's banned from all social media platforms because he keeps it raw and uncut. I totally disagree with that. But what I mean, like I can understand why you was.
Wait, hold on. Is it because
definitely because he was doing sex trafficking? It's not because he was just on the internet talking mean. It's because he was trafficking women.
Right.
That's not true.
Okay.
But I mean, you see how like anytime a man speaks up about anything, like he will.
Well, but he does have sex trafficking allegations against him, though, right? Didn't he get charged with sex trafficking?
Nah.
That's why he's in Romania, because all his girlfriends do OnlyFans. In essence, he pimps out all his girlfriends. If you become his girlfriend, then you're going to be a pimp. Long story short, sex trafficking.
I could have sworn
1 + 1 is 2.
Didn't they like raid his apartment?
Yes. He's not even allowed in the United States. It's not because he says mean things on the internet. It's because he's a criminal.
The brotherhood is strong. See, always talking about the sisterhood. Russ was like, nope, he didn't.
He's a literal international pimp, and you're mad because, like, what?
Yeah, people seem to forget.
Wow.
That criminal activity is different.
Men do not have no sense of freedom of speech. You know what I mean?
Oh my goodness, Rush.
But that's a bad. Okay, well, you have to give us a different example, because that's a bad example. Because literally, he had to be like accused of sex trafficking.
Okay. If a guy keeps it
online for a very long time.
if a guy shares his honest opinion within corporate America, a female could go back to HR, report him, and get him fired.
What kind of
Case
honest opinion?
closed.
Give an example of the honest opinion you're talking about.
I mean, we don't have to get
Like
intricate with these
that
details. You
It
know,
ain't even
Yes,
have
we
to
like
be
do,
it is
Rush.
what it
women.
is.
Like
You
he can
know,
say nigga and get fired. It's the
Rush,
same
we
concept.
have
If you say
to.
something wrong, you're gonna get fired.
But that's still a different
I don't want
scenario.
to argue. I don't want to argue. You know what I mean?
No, it's
I'm
not an
just putting that
argument,
out there. You know what
Rush.
I mean?
but
it's
Rush,
not an argument. It's just kind of challenging
it's
your
not even
assertion.
challenging. It's asking
It's
for an example of what you're talking about. You said if a man says certain things in corporate America, he will get fired. What types of things are you talking about? Please give one example.
I pass on that. But you
Okay,
know,
so
like I can see why.
they
I can
just be
see
talking
why.
about y'all.
once again,
Darwin will
here we
believe that.
go with someone who doesn't even believe what they say they believe, talking about talking points just to say something. Because what types of things do you think someone would get fired for
I'm not
when
trying to
someone
argue with you. That's why
okay,
let's
but
just leave that
okay,
alone.
Rush,
You know what
Rush,
I mean?
come on. Rush, we're adults here. It's a show. And it's not about us arguing. It's about you being able to stand on the things that you say out of your mouth. I can
I gave my first an example. You guys totally dismissed it.
all right, hold on, hold
what
on.
You
So
know?
what's
Well,
so
the
we,
example?
well,
hold on.
we're, well,
So
well,
Rush,
no,
would
we,
you agree? Would you agree that men do get away with talking more explicit um overall, that not even just online, just period? Can men talk more explicit than women and not being seen as aggressive or disrespectful or rude?
I mean, it depends. It depends.
Come on, I'm trying to give.
Like,
Come on.
are we talking about
Darwin is trying to help you.
He's
He's
trying to give
trying
him
to
an
help
alley
you.
hoop and he is missing it.
listen? Like,
Did you see the whole
you know,
Serena Williams one of her interviews when she's saying when she was out there cursing and being aggressive and yelling, they was the referees was even trying to tell her to stop and trying to ticket her and stuff. But when the men was playing tennis and they cursing and stuff, they say nothing to them. In WNBA, you know,
right? Okay, that's I, from that perspective. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on that.
yeah, I'm just giving
When it
examples
comes to
because
a female, hold on. When it comes to a female, there is a certain level of expectation for her to have some sense of decorum. I mean,
okay.
but when it comes to male, you know, like, yeah, of course, we get a pass for being, you know what I mean? You know, doing what we do
Okay.
best. You know what I
Why
mean?
do you say of
Rush,
course?
should there be an expectation for men to display some type of leadership? If there's an expectation for women to have a certain level
Yeah,
of decorum,
yes,
okay.
there is. Yes, I'm not. Yo, man, I'm not here to argue with you, man. Like,
Oh
I
my
mean, I'm
goodness,
pretty neutral. You know
Rush,
what I mean? You
Rush,
coming at me
Rush,
hard over here. You know
Rush.
what I mean?
Rush, you're not neutral, but the thing is, it's not that we're here to argue. We're just literally talking. You're saying things, I'm asking you questions about it. It's not an argument. I'm just trying to understand more so where you're coming from. Some things you said didn't quite make sense to me. So I just needed a little bit of clarity, and then you felt attacked and said, "Oh, I'm not here to argue. I'm not here to argue with you. I don't even know you. I'm just trying to understand what you're saying. If you say someone can get fired, men get fired for saying certain things in the workplace, I want to know which things are you talking about? What things are men getting unfairly fired for saying? And what things are women getting unfairly fired for saying? I'm just trying to see where you're coming from, because it sounds like an internet talking point. Oh my goodness, men can't say or do anything. When in reality, in terms of the workplace, what? If we want to look into statistics and things that go on in the workplace, are you serious? You're saying that men don't get away with all types of things in the workplace all the time? Like, that's just objectively incorrect. So that's why I was asking you, what are the things that you're talking about? It's not an argument. I'm trying to gain clarity. If you don't want to answer, you can decline and I'll respect that. But to try to say, I don't want to argue, oh my goodness, you're attacking me or whatever, that's not going to fly. We don't have to do that. Just say, I don't want to talk about it.
Did you?
And he don't have to want to talk about it. When we were talking about corporate America, I don't know if you guys have seen The Wolf of Wall Street. Have y'all
Yeah.
seen that?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
And
come
he
on,
talked about
yo.
that, and I'm
Yo,
sitting
say,
here
come
like,
on, man. That's not
Oh, now
even
he's
like
back.
now
reality.
you
But
talking
I
Now
too
see
he's
we
much.
getting
back.
at
Come
with
on
it.
now,
Yeah.
Rush. Now Rush got the cat ain't got his tongue no more. The cat
Now
said, "Don't
he's
Did
do
you
it."
back.
just say that's not reality? Is that not based on a
That
true
was
story?
literally a documentary. I
Right. I
said,
was like, isn't that based on a true story?
It's obviously a film is always going to embellish. I mean, yo, that movie Wall Street was a good movie, and
It
a
was.
"Did
lot
you
of
see how
the
those folks were
Like,
getting treated in that movie? You telling me when those SA charges going on around there, or unreported SA charges? Come on now. We're not gonna sit up here and say men can't do what they need to do anymore, because look where they came from. I'm pretty sure they on a tight leash compared to what they used to be.
Right. Right. Well, I think that it is true what he says, but I also feel like that's why Kay wanted you to kind of give some examples, because I think that when we hear that, and we knowing the information and knowing the reality, we know that a lot of men do complain about not being able to do and say freely what they used to be able to do and say, which was a lot of crazy stuff. So it's like, yeah, you can't go around and make certain, sexually explicit comments to people. You can't walk by and slap your secretary on the butt no more. No, you can't do it. No. Like, so what are the things that men can't do anymore? That's like the question.
They're
Exactly.
being oppressed.
And I believe, and I don't know because he won't answer. He got real silent. I don't know where he went when I asked the question. But I do believe that he doesn't want to answer because the things that he would say are problematic.
Right.
Like
And Rush, you know that. Rush knows.
if a man just says, "Hey, nice hair," you're not getting fired for that. Now, if you say, "Hey, I don't know, just some other
I
stuff,"
want to pull your hair. Let me pull your
Exactly.
hair tonight.
Let me see your hands in your hair. That is
look
inappropriate.
like you stuck a good one.
Oh my
You took it
goodness.
all the way there.
You got Black Trump in the comment. Black Trump, I can't. I just got sleepy just seeing your name in the comment section tonight. Oh, we need to get some good sleep to go through it with you, Black Trump.
I know, right? Black Trump will need a timer because I just cannot.
We
I
got
can't.
the link is posted in the chat if you want to come up, Black Trump. But yeah. Welcome. But yeah, so yeah.
And oh my goodness, Supreme, you were talking. I don't know who brought up the Wolf of Wall Street, but like Jordan
Yes.
Belfort himself will say, like, I've seen plenty of interviews of him. I've seen him talking about like the way things were. It was all types of stuff happening.
Yeah.
I mean, the things he got in trouble for were like, financial, like money things,
Yes.
stuff like that.
Embezzlement and things like that.
Yeah. So like saying like, oh, people can't do it, and oh my goodness, are you serious?
This is what I was talking about with hegemonic power structures, because the idea is that as a man, I should be able to do whatever I want, say whatever I want, whenever I want, and that's real manhood. And it's not. So when you get in places where you can't do that, apparently it's like a test of your manhood. Like, you shouldn't be able to say whatever you want to say. Everything you think should not be said out loud. Like,
it's hard for us men to let go of all our perks that we once was afforded. So give us some time. I'm cool, but give them some time to get
let us
over
grab
the
a
fact.
few asses.
Yeah,
we just need a few secretaries.
They was only getting away with this shit for like thousands of years. You can't cure them in 10 years. So
But wait,
Huh?
see, and that I've heard similar arguments. Like, the thing is, people want to say, and I'm not saying you, Darwin, because I know that like this is probably not your thought process, but like people want to be like, men are the leaders, but women just sit back and give them time. What? You can't have it both ways. Either you're leading and you're doing that, or you're not. You cannot say, women, we're the leaders, but you know what? You also have to be very, give us time. We're not ready yet, but we still want to be the figurehead leaders. Like, That's just not how it works.
I think it's just like with racism. A couple more generations of men is going to have to die before this shit get right. You know what I'm saying? Because we still have a lot of male toxic males out here that's still feeding people. You know, and as long as we got that out there, it's never going to really be gone. Just like racism, the racism is dying down a little bit. Like you see more people being friends with white people because a lot of the behaviors that white people exhibit has died away. It's still a lot of racism going on underneath the skies of the, you know, what they can do and shit like that. But more of these generations that die off, more of these grandfathers that die and stop passing this hate down to their kids, it'll get better. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think the men are getting better overall. It's just such a big gap that we gotta, you know, come from. You know what I'm saying? We gotta fill in. Like, I see men getting better in a lot of things, but it's still, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of more generations got to die to me.
We got Black Trump in the building. You know, he saw the conversation. He had to get up here with some of his shenanigans.
Reality just
Can you
pretty
hold
good.
the shenanigans?
Pretty good. Reality just stepped in the building.
Oh Lord. Okay. What did you want to add to the conversation, Black Trump?
Listen, women ain't running nothing. Stop it. Stop it.
Anything?
You can't run anything, but black men lead. I'm sorry, you know, and again, we apologize for the women not selecting leaders. I mean, you know, we'll take that responsibility. That's primarily your fault. You didn't select a leader. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean,
I just love how there's like all of these overabundance of leaders out here, but somehow we still end up picking the minority instead of the majority. Like,
y'all can't even get lucky.
Right, you know?
Because you don't know how to pick. Y'all suck at pick. 80% of the women pick. When you get your education,
they should just be falling out of trees. Like, the overabundance of leaders. We should just run into a leader every time we turn around.
No, I think what it is, the more educated a woman becomes, 80% of the women do not have the ability to pick a competent man.
Oh man, here we go with 80%. Where did you get that from? And you said it's a fact.
I'm just saying, it is what it is.
You said
he thinks the U.S. Census is fabricated data. Do not fall down the
Okay, so
you part of that generation. I was just talking about.
All I'm doing is telling y'all the truth.
Y'all already know how I feel about 80% in any situation that people just randomly start saying. And now it's 80%. That's the truth. Where did you get that from? I'm just saying.
Well, it comes from, but think about it for a minute. You got, nowadays, look with this whole feminist movement, you got women that don't want to submit. Therefore, you got men that won't commit. I mean, you know, it's a double-edged sword.
I'm sorry, Black Trump, but that's not how data works. That's not.
That's how it is. That's how it is. You got to get on the same page.
Don't even let yourself get triggered by his data. His data is literally like just.
You know how I feel about 80%.
Listen, because y'all hate.
No, for real. We had him up in 4K. Hold on, wait, Black Trump. We had him up in 4K, and we literally put census data up here, and he was like, "Nah, that's fabricated. I don't know where that came from."
That's oh my goodness.
Seriously,
because it's like you showing me some data. He's showing me some data. And it's clearly indicated that there are more women out here that have kids than men. Is that not a fact?
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I mean,
it's a yes or no question.
That wasn't the point.
Do you understand?
It's a yes or no question.
Do you understand what you're saying? Like, the thing that you're saying is not a flex for men.
Listen, we don't have it. Listen, there's a lot of men out here that don't have kids. Why is that? If there's more women that have kids. Well, because there's a bunch of women have kids by men with multiple kids.
But no, why are the men that don't have kids complaining about it?
No man is complaining about it. We Gucci over here. We ain't complaining.
Right now.
We spitting facts. These are facts.
That's not facts though, but
can you put your factual data in the back chat just so I can review it? I'm just curious.
No, he
No
cannot.
God.
Okay, he's
Literally,
just
his
gonna say,
factual
"Look
data
around
is
you."
all like 80%, like random 80%
Everything,
almost everywhere.
80%.
You should
Yeah.
just know. You should just look
Dang.
around you and see. You should just look
Dang.
around you and see these facts. What?
Oh, God. Look up
He
the
said,
data for yourself.
but you
You
heard
did,
what he
and
just
you
said.
told us it was a lie. You
80%
told
of
us it was a
women will
lie.
submit to
Listen,
their
we,
men. How do you validate
yeah,
that?
If a
listen.
man, if a man
I
cannot get a woman,
I did not say that. I said
As a
women
man,
who choose
what
not
does
to
he do?
submit, women who choose not to submit, those are the women that won't get men to commit.
Well,
That's
Black
a
Trump, we
fact.
already know what you think
why
submission
can't a
is.
man get
You
a
think
woman to
submission is
submit
cooking and
though?
cleaning, so we already know what you think submission
But why
Well,
can't but why can't a man get a woman to submit? I had no problem getting my wife to submit. Why can't these other men get women to submit? That's the
it,
question right there. That's the question.
is she submissive? Is your
No, no,
wife
no, 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 no,
submissive?
no, no, no. If a woman
Ah,
is
you got
not
to answer the
submissive,
question. Answer the question.
yeah.
She's on
If
the
a woman
line.
is
No,
not
Black Trump.
submissive, why can't a
He
man
doesn't have
She's
to
on the
get
answer
her
that.
to
line.
If you don't
submit?
have to answer where you get your data from.
No, that's
Thank
cool.
you,
The
Kay.
thing is
Not him
this.
trying to pull rank. He
Right,
answered the
right.
The
question
thing
Like
is
again.
this.
you didn't answer anything about your data, but now you asking somebody and telling them they must answer.
But hold
Like,
on.
I
But
mean, I'm
the
on my
thing is
cell phone.
this.
I can't pull it up.
The thing is this. If women
oh,
are
your
so
cell
are
phone with the
Convenient.
internet that you're logged into StreamYard from, just like me.
Yeah.
I'm on my cell phone too. I can pull up data. What kind of phone you got?
The link is gonna be the
All,
same. Trump. Just log out, come back
you
with data, and let us
all I
know.
can do is bring it to you. I mean, again, I know
no,
you women are in
I'm
denial.
cool with that.
It's a trait.
What I'm
Just
saying
go get
is
it real quick and then come right back.
he not gonna get it. What I'm saying is it's women out here that I understand that they're not submissive. Okay, that's cool. But it's women out here that's not submissive, but they get a good man and then they start submitting to. So why can't these men that you talking about can't get a woman? Why can't they get an unsubmissive woman to submit? Because that's part of being a man. Controlling your situation, making things better for themselves. He can't even make a woman suitable for him. Like I had a lot of control with why my wife submitted to me. She wasn't
Yeah,
submit
I
to
mean,
all this dude.
time is
I had that
different. And
control to get her to submit. It was
okay,
something within me.
but time is different now. The times are totally different. You got women that want to,
Damn, I'm only
ride
39.
Listen. Women want to ride the cock carousel all through their 20s, and then when they get to their 30s, they want to try to find a man. They settle for the dude that they really don't want, but they
That's what
just
she
settle
did.
for him.
That's what my wife did. You right. She did
Yeah,
all of
they
that.
settle. They
Um,
settle. See, see.
wait,
I didn't even get that far, but see, you got a
explain
prime
to
example.
me
Yeah, she did all of that.
no,
That's
because
my point.
right
We on
You
live.
making my
Salute.
point.
hold
She
I
on,
know,
she
right
right?
now
And he's still
she was
married.
wilding out. She was
Listen.
wilding out when she was young.
there
But
are
see, here's where the
literally
problem. Here's where the problem comes into play now. Now you got these brothers, the passport brothers getting their passports. Those same individuals are not going to be available when you time for you to submit.
Nobody
So
don't
then you're
want
going to have a
these
problem with that.
individuals.
how
Nobody don't
about
want them then.
whoever
They don't
wants
want
to
them
get a
now.
passport goes and gets one and goes wherever they want to
Absolutely.
go.
No, that
Men
goes
should
back to
honestly, men should be like Trump. Men should
but
go get a supermodel that
first
had
before
posed
we
nude and have been
before
having
we
sex with
get
everybody.
hold on,
Go
Listen,
buy a
if
woman.
men get like Trump, yeah, a lot of y'all be single.
hold on a
That's a
second,
fact.
y'all. Before we
If
get
That's
women
a
start
fact.
buying
Are you
men, they wouldn't be
single
single. You
or
talking
That's a
about
married?
buying
fact.
women.
wait a minute, y'all, before we get down into the weeds, because we finna already see some shenanigans happening. Let me go
Black
I
Trizzy in
ain't
ahead.
the
about to
building.
buy no
Salute,
woman.
salute,
Let me
salute.
go ahead and welcome We on Lock Nation to the panel. Hey, friend of the
We
show.
on live.
Hello.
How you
What
Hi,
up?
doing?
What
We
up?
Mr.
got
Locke.
you in the building.
Hello, ma'am.
What did you want to add to the conversation we on Lock?
The only person I'm submitted to first and foremost is God. Secondly, would be my wife, because when we both got married, we both promised to both God and the pastor that I would be submissive to her, she would be submissive to me. That's how it works.
You're supposed to
I
give your
don't.
wife commitment, not submissiveness. But go ahead.
Well.
Why?
In this,
Because he don't cook and clean?
huh?
I'm talking to Black Trump. He thinks that cooking and cleaning is submissiveness. So
No, it's
No,
not.
it's part of the traits a woman's supposed to do. But
No,
you can go
no,
ahead.
it's part of a chore. If I choose to clean, then my wife is going to cook. If I choose to go into my room, which I lay my head and sleep, she's going to tackle the bathroom. I'm going to tackle the living room. It's called partnership. We don't practice partnership nowadays. Everybody wants to be the big head honcho. Everybody wants to be a leader. Leader is so far fetched nowadays. I don't know if you're going to lead me to a bowl full of gold or a bowl full of snakes. In what particular partnership are we talking about here?
50-50%,
How do I
50-50
know?
partnership never
How do I
worked.
know?
Sorry.
But wait a minute. How do I know who to follow? If is it because of tone? Is it because of your tone of deliverance? Is it because of your promises? What is a leader? What is a leader supposed to look like nowadays in these dark days of time? Please
He leads
elaborate.
his house. He leads his household. Simple.
Don't nobody know how to play the tambourine.
No one plays the tambourine. If I have to play the tambourine, I will play the tambourine, and I will play the hell out that thing.
Who's seen that Chris Rock documentary? Because he explained it perfectly. You know, sometimes you're the lead singer, and sometimes you gotta know when to play your
Listen, let me tell you something. It's like football, right? You have your center who hikes the ball, and you have your quarterback. You and your wife can't be quarterback because there'll be nobody to hike the ball. So you can't have this 50% bullshit. Y'all got to cut that shit out. It doesn't work.
Well,
okay, let's be realistic. Let's be realistic.
Hold on one second. We on Like Nation.
It's not 50-50. It's 100.
It's 100. But the difference is
there's no such thing as 100.
It's just 100. It's just
you ain't working with 100%. There has to be a percentage.
It's just 100.
But the thing
that doesn't
is
make sense.
A lot of the things that we try to make traits and we try to make roles and all this other stuff are literally just chores and are literally just things that you need to do as an adult. Like that's all the things that I'm hearing. Like all the things that I'm hearing that people supposed to take on in a relationship are things that they would have been doing separately on their own anyway. Like there's nothing new being brought into the situation. So if they were doing it separately on their own, why when they get together do they have to divvy it up a very specific way? Why can't they just divvy it up however they see fit in the relationship?
I mean, you can, but those type of relationships don't usually last that long.
Been married for 6 years.
You have to.
Black Trump, you got to.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying you have to have somebody who has authority. You have to have authority. It's the same thing. Like you go to your job, you submit to your boss, right? Because that's your boss. Because if you don't submit to him, you don't do what he asks you to do, he'll fire you. Because it's the facts.
This said
because you can get up and go anytime you want to and
that's
make
why you
it
think
build
when
up
y'all
your
go
own
overseas and
establishment.
buy a woman, that's called submission too.
Black Trump, how long have
you say tomato? I say tomato. Same shit.
Black Trump, how long Black Trump, how long have you been married?
I'm not married. I'm dating.
Oh, okay.
But you gotta understand, I give the ring. She has no control over that.
What in the world? If you have all the keys, Black Trump.
He's 43.
Listen, marriage. Let me tell you something. Let me enlighten you guys a little bit. Let me give you some enlightenment. Let me give you some enlightenment.
Wait, Black Trump, if you're so concerned
by me just
marriages.
Okay, Miss, you gonna let me explain? Okay, you gonna let me. But you got listen. But listen, I get it. I'm getting underneath. The truth is getting underneath the skin. I get it. Let me explain.
You talked. I was just trying to make sure you understand the question that's being asked. If you have all the keys to success, you know what it takes. You're the type of guy, all this stuff. Then why aren't you in the situation that you're trying to like put on other people?
Listen, I can put my, I can easily be married. Listen, understand.
Hold on, Black Trump.
Okay, she asked me a question. Now you about to ask me another question? All right, go ahead.
No. I just want to. I'm trying to help you out, just to be fair.
Listen, Black Trizzy, cool as a cucumber. I'm good.
Before you answer, you're literally on a panel full of married people. Like everyone on the panel is literally currently married. Okay,
right, and I'm giving you guys some enlightenment. I get it.
Okay,
I'm here for the advice. I'm here for the advice, Black Trump. Come on.
Yeah, tell us how we supposed to.
Listen, there is no benefit to a man to just to say, okay, well, listen, I'm gonna marry you. If I'm just dating you and we just having sex, that works in my favor, right? But if I marry you, that works in your favor. Why? I'm
Well,
glad
then
you
you gotta
asked
answer her
because
question.
now listen. You have full commitment of me. I take responsibility. So now it's better for you. It works out better for you. And if you divorce me, you take half my shit.
You see how this
So
False.
Can you
Okay,
repeat
so
Kay,
the
can you re-ask the
question?
question? Kay, re-ask the question
Who
because maybe it
schooled you?
ain't
Who
right.
schooled you
Okay.
on marriage?
Like,
We
what? He
can't.
didn't
I'm
even
not
answer the
blaming. We can't
question.
blame Black Trump. Obviously, the
I
person that
I
schooled
give
him on
I
He
give
marriage
the
didn't answer the
ring.
question.
failed
I
him.
give the
Whoever
ring.
schooled him on
Understand?
marriage has failed him.
There's no
We
marriage
totally
that failed
understand
me.
that. We
Darwin, it was
totally understand that.
podcasts.
You don't. That's and see.
He's
This is the problem.
43. He
And this is
totally
the problem with a lot of men. Men get married, and this is the reason why a lot of dudes do get divorced because they don't even really know their partner who they marrying.
Okay,
understand.
so
It's
That's
let's
been
true.
20.
okay,
That's true.
Hey,
okay,
it's
so
been
That's
20 years for
facts.
me.
That's
okay,
true.
so
I
Black
agree
It's
with that
You know,
part.
you see that niceness, that fat ass, and that nice breast, and you get all in love with that, but you never looked at the characteristics of that individual. And see,
mm-hmm.
Black
that's where
Trump, I
things
agree with
always
You're
go
that.
true.
wrong.
That's true. That's true
I
to
agree
a
with
certain
that.
extent.
People don't get to know people. I mean, I get that. But I was just asking you a different question that you've evaded completely.
Well,
And
because
again,
I'm getting attacked on the panel like
you're
usually,
not, oh my goodness, here we
but
go
you got to
again, Snack.
ask the question
no
again, and
one
I'll
was
No one,
answer it.
attacked. No one
Black
was
Ask it
Trump,
again.
attacking you,
oh,
man.
I
Ask
will,
it
but
again. Ask
please,
it again. Ask it again.
I will, if as soon as you stop talking, I will. So just a disclaimer, I am not attacking you. You have every right to not answer this question if it's something you don't want to talk about, if it makes you feel uncomfortable. This is not an attack. I don't even know you. I have no reason to attack you. That's my disclaimer. Um, I am asking if you have all the keys to success as it relates to marriage. You know what men should do, you know what women should do, you know how people should be together. Um, and I'm just gonna assume that you're a good guy. I don't know, but I'm sure you would say that you were a good dude.
Yeah, I'm
Why?
decent. I'm decent.
Okay, so then why is it?
Go
Why is
ahead.
it that you are not in that situation? And if you don't want it, why do you care what other people are doing?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Now, can I answer, or you have something else to
Stop
ask?
dramatics, please. We're adults.
Okay, okay. Here's the thing. If to marry somebody, you have to have those qualities that you're looking for, those attributes. And if you don't have the attributes, a lot of times you may say, okay, well, listen, the sex is good, yada yada yada, but she's not wife material. She don't want to, cook, do
Okay,
wife
so you
shit,
can't
feed me,
find
fuck me,
anyone
be
to
my
cook for
friend.
you. Are you saying you can't find people to cook for you?
Yeah, well, a lot of these women nowadays, they don't want to cook. And then now also the flip side to them, you got a, gang of kids and shit like that. I mean, there's other reasons. I look into all these items before I make a decision.
If those are the women that you're constantly running into, could it be you?
No,
If
it's not me.
Could it possibly be that women with no kids that like to cook don't like you?
There's no way a woman with no, first of all, you got to meet a woman with no kids.
Oh
That's
my
that's not.
goodness. I
When you have
oh
no
my,
self awareness, that is impossible. Are you serious? There is
Miss,
no
we
way
don't
a
work on
woman
it.
would not
Like I
want
say,
him.
black men and women do not run on the same page. We're different.
Okay.
okay,
Uh,
but
I
So
just
the
got.
things I look for,
Me?
and the attributes I look for, not all men look for the same attributes. Every man has a different
okay,
perspective.
okay. Don't get under the cloak of all men. We're directly talking to you.
Okay,
I
I'm
but
like
I
that
just
asking
one.
a
explained.
specific question about yourself. Again, if you don't want to answer it, don't. I don't mind
Listen,
that.
if I find the right woman, I'll marry her.
Why are you having such a hard time?
Because the way society is right now, the move women that I've been meeting haven't really, in my opinion, are not wife material.
Do
Because
you have a
Simple.
passport?
Damn, all these women you can't find. Damn, you only met.
Do you
How
have
many
a
women have you
passport?
Out
met?
of the United States of America, you
Do
cannot
you have
find
a
one.
passport?
Supreme, you said
Do you have a
you have a
passport?
passport.
Is it
Yes, I do.
stamped? Is
Yes,
it
I do.
stamped? Is it
Stamp.
stamped?
It's stamp, baby girl.
You haven't found any women over there to take in court?
Around the world, no women meet his standards.
I mean, make it make sense for me, Black Trump.
And the whole
I
world
mean,
crazy.
I'm trying to
it is.
understand all these women in the world,
Of
and
the
you can't
world.
find one.
Look,
Trump
How
got
about
married that
I
you
did you
just
can't
find
listen.
any in
find.
Alaska?
Listen. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. First, up until a few years ago, I was still, playing the field, playing the game. So
So, Kay,
I'll
what you
keep it a
mean is
buck.
that he
I'll
is
keep it a
playing and
buck.
he's
I'll keep it
willing
a
to
buck.
admit that.
We
Yeah,
don't
I'll keep
lie.
it a buck.
Hey, we
I
don't
was. I
lie.
was.
Do your
What's
wife
up?
cook
Okay,
for
so
you?
you're
I'm
projecting your
sorry.
own
Do your
issues
wife
that you're
cook
having.
for you?
All the time.
My wife cooks for me
Sometimes I
too.
cook for her.
Yep.
Sometimes
I
I
don't.
cook for her. I cook for
Yeah, I was gonna,
sometimes I cook for
I
her and
was
the
gonna
kids.
give, I was gonna give, since we had Black Trump to give us his opinion on what marriage is about and what men get out of it. I wanted to give both the husbands we have on the panel an opportunity to tell us what they get from marriage or how they view marriage, since they're husbands. Let's see if they're gonna come away with something different. We have,
Again, they gave the ring because they felt that the woman that they were with was worth giving a ring to.
well, let them answer.
I get it.
Black Trump, it seems that this is a topic that, could possibly be emotional for you, which is very
And it's not,
understandable.
not at all. Not at all.
Okay, that's not a bad thing. We're human. But I'm just saying that as we're talking and more is happening to me, and I don't know you, and you can obviously speak on this, but you're doing a lot of talking about what married people should and shouldn't do. Everyone on the panel is married except you. And then when asked about it, it's, well, there are no women out here that fit my standards. But
I
I
didn't say there
very
was no woman. I says I
you're
haven't
right.
met.
You're right.
I
You haven't
haven't.
met.
Okay,
I'm
because
sorry.
it's a female
Okay,
trait
I'm
to twist the
sorry.
words around. I get it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. You haven't met any women in your, how old are you?
I'm in my 40s.
Okay, in your 40 something years on earth around the globe with your passport, you haven't met any women that meet your standards. Now, to
I'm
me,
not gonna. Do you want me to answer that, or you
no,
want
I'm not
to?
asking you a question. I'm just
Okay,
saying.
go ahead.
So to
Yep.
me, that seems as if you could possibly be the problem. Can you imagine if a woman were up here saying, my standards are just so high, nobody is good enough for me? She would be ripped to shreds. But you're up here doing the same thing, and you think that because you're a man, that no one's gonna just say, he's taking his passport. He's
This
hopping
nigga
from
is God.
he's going
Yep.
from continent to continent, and he can't
Mhm.
find one woman in 40 something years that he connects with and likes and wants to be with. That is, you cannot objectively say that that's anything outside of emotional or biased. You can't, like, just
No,
be
my
objective.
it's my preference. Sometimes the preference part
No, it's
is
your
my fucked
pride.
up part.
Oh my goodness.
No, it's your pride. But
No,
believe
it's
me,
nothing with the pride. It's just like I said before. I'm looking for a chocolate, dark skinned woman who would
and
get on my
there's
fucking
plenty of them out,
page.
and there's plenty of them
Are
out
you
there.
willing? Are you willing to change? Try to change anything about yourself to get a mate, a sufficient mate?
Well. I got to see what those changes are, depending on what those changes are. Yeah,
Okay.
no doubt.
Mm.
But as far as you meeting somebody, you go to, oh, I want you to be like this, and I want you to be, like super submit. I want you to do this, and nah, there's limitations to what
What
I'll
if she
do.
was like? What if she was like, accept me because I'm light skinned?
Nah, I'm sorry, I ain't
Oh,
doing that. I'm
it could be
past
the
that
perfect
age
woman,
now.
do everything you want, but
Hey, she's
and
African.
pretty, and pretty. But since
Ain't
she
nothing
light
wrong
skinned,
with
you
light
gotta have
skinned people.
her.
Ain't nothing wrong.
I mean, ain't nothing wrong with light skin. I mean, but
Yes,
that's
it
just
is.
I know I've
that's
been talking a lot, Cannon, but like, this is just something very interesting because I think it's interesting that so many men can see it when it's women doing the same exact thing, but they can't see it when it's themselves or other men.
because it's
Wait, hold
crucial
on,
when women do it.
real quick. So if a person is out here like, these are my preferences and no one meets them, I'm single by choice. If it's a woman, oh my goodness. If it's a man that's 40, 50, 60, talking about my preferences and my choices and I just can't find anybody, then no one has anything to say. Like, I don't
That's
understand
right. That's right. I
I
can
don't
explain it
understand
to you.
how like honestly say that makes sense. And in
It
my
does.
from my point of view, and it's just my point of view, in my observation, and I'm not saying this is statistically whatever, it's just my observation, that a lot of people, regardless of their gender, at a certain point start talking about their very high standards because they're lonely, they don't have.
Oh, okay. I think we lost your audio. Yeah, we lost our
Very
audio.
interesting.
If you can hear us, we
Well,
lost our audio. Give me
well,
one.
it's different. It's different.
Hold
But
on,
the
Black.
problem is
Give me one
it's
second.
different. All right.
Oh, yeah, give me one second. Kay's probably gonna come back.
All
Okay.
right. But
We
it's
have,
different.
hold on
Is
one second. We have Dr. Eugene Steele in the building who has joined the panel. Thank
Hey, how
you.
you
What's up,
doing?
Doc?
Go ahead and finish your point, Black Trump, and then Dr. Eugene, you can add your 2 cents to the conversation.
it's different between men and women. The reason why it's different between men and women is that, as a man gets older, he establishes himself, get his finances in order and gets himself in order. He has a time. A woman prime is when she's younger.
So
So
do you really think that young women in their early 20s want 50, 40, 60-year-old men
I date
unless,
him. I date him.
well,
Yes.
but you're not married to them, huh?
It doesn't
So
matter. But again, I give
it
the
doesn't
ring.
Raise your
matter.
hand if
What
you
is it?
believe he's dating 20-year-old
What
women.
what don't you
Raise your
understand?
hand if you
What
believe he's dating
what
20-year-old women.
don't you what
Exactly.
don't you
Okay.
understand? What don't you understand? What is so hard about that?
I
I
believe that
don't
We
he's buying
understand you're
20-year-olds.
lying.
I don't understand
I think he
Huh?
Black
probably on
Trump.
the short. Never mind. I ain't gonna say that. That's rude.
Black Trump, the thing that's not understandable for me, and I'm not going to say we,
Like
no.
29, 29. It ain't like no 25, but 29, 30,
Okay, so
younger.
like 10 to 15 years younger than you.
Right.
The thing that's not understandable for me is if you're a person who preaches about marriage, you clearly, believe in the institution of marriage because you've
Uh,
talked about it several times within this last however many minutes. If you're snagging all these women that are so young and whatever, why aren't they the ones that you want to marry? You think that's all in your control, or do you
okay,
think
but
that they just because look.
are you gonna allow me to respond
Oh
or
my goodness,
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
stop.
whoa,
It's
whoa. Well, let me
I'm
say
sorry, I'm
this.
sorry. I know you were done. I didn't know.
You
I'm sorry, go
you
ahead,
don't
continue.
have to do this. And it's so funny, like so many people do this to me. Are you gonna let me, like, what?
Well,
It's not
ma'am,
it's
ma'am.
not that. Like,
I,
just calm down, okay?
Yeah, hold on 1 second, y'all. Okay, we on lock. Go ahead and add what
Ma'am,
you want to say, and then we're gonna let Eugene add what he wants to say.
the only thing I'm gonna say is this. Listen, if you can't at this day, at this age, at this rate, find someone suitable and stick with that particular person, what makes you think that you're gonna put a ring on her, say I do, and proceed to be in a marriage for even 5 years, 10 years? If you reach 10 years, that's level one. If you reach 20 years, that's level two. And to reach 10 years, you got to know what pain is all about. Suffering is all about. There's joy and there's happiness, but with that, there's always pain and there's always suffering. But in the end, you always fight through it. Trust me and believe me. I know. I've been married for 12 years. Been with the same woman for 20 years. I know how hard it is. So if you can't be in a normal relationship, if you can't agree to disagree or come to some conclusion, some decision, or agree to something, then y'all don't need to be together. It's all about sex, 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 sex. Sex
That,
is going to be there. Sex
this
ain't
nigga
going
never get
nowhere.
married with this speech we on lock. He'll never
Just
get
just
married with
because
this speech.
this is like basketball. Everybody wants to join the basketball league. Basketball is going to be there. Only 1% of athletes are going to make it in the NBA. Okay? Sex is going to be there. But you need to establish something. Get away from your pride. You're very prideful, and I get it. You want to be the man of the household. I am the man of the household. But when I am not there, guess who is taking control? My wife. And
And that's
together,
fine.
we together are leaders when it comes to our children. And when you have children, I don't know if you have children or not. When you have children, oh boy, oh my God, it gets worse. It gets way worse until they reach a certain age. And when you got it all together, everything is good. But you gotta fight through so many adversities all at one time. Being married. But
We don't like. We
when you
want them
got
to
time
get
to
married.
relax, when you got time to relax and you have time to enjoy yourself on a night out, oh, that's a blessing. Oh, that's a given. You,
Yeah.
you got
Thank
to.
you, Unlock. Thank you. Dr. Eugene, what did you want? Right before you go, just let me go ahead and introduce Miss Jovo in the building. She came through for us, but Dr. Eugene, go ahead. And then Miss Jovo, give us your 2 cents.
Well,
Hey, hey.
Mhm.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
ma'am.
Yep. Okay, go ahead.
I had to join, but no, I had to join because I'm listening to
Hold on one
Black
second,
Trump.
Miss Jovo. Hold on. I already know
Okay.
you're ready. Hold on one second. Let's listen to
Yo,
Dr.
listen, it's the
Hi,
game.
Jovo.
All right, thank
Hey,
you.
hey.
Go ahead, Dr. Eugene.
well, here I am, 52-year-old man, looking for marriage, and all this time, you know, I know that there's a price I have to pay in order to, be in that marriage or being in that relationship. But the question is, how much am I willing to pay? That's where vetting and courting really comes in to find out, what price are you willing to pay? Because if I'm if you're marriage minded, I know I am. If I'm looking for this person I want to spend the rest of my life with, then I have to carefully, choose that person, see what sacrifices, I can make, and see what sacrifices she has to make in order for the relationship, to work, so it would get to marriage. I try to, ever since some time ago, I tried to manifest um, what a good marriage is. I try to think about any situation that could come my way or our way and see what we could, do about it. Like I said, I've never, you know, been married or been in a marriage, but I always try to envision, you know, what my role is or what she's going to do. Um, that's basically, what I have at this time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for your addition. Miss Jovo, I know you're ready for Black Trump.
You know what? Let me just say this. Let me just say this. And I've said it all the time. Um, people need to get out of this fear that they have about I'm gonna have to give up everything about myself if I decide to get married. And that's that fear that I think that a lot of people have. When I'm listening to Black Trump, I'm listening to him put all this whole list out about what he wants to see in a wife, all of these requirements. But what I don't hear in a lot of these conversations is what people are going to do to honor their role and their level of duty in these relationships. See, what I've talked about this on Facebook groups. I've talked about it on a couple of lives. I didn't get to the altar and bam, magically I was already a great wife. Like that didn't happen. Okay, like a lot of these conversations and a lot of these spaces, they talk about how black men need to be, black women rather need to be teachable and they need to be cooperative. Everybody in marriage, the man and the woman, need to be teachable because you in for a ride. And the first lesson is realizing that you're not gonna get exactly what you want from the other person or in this situation because you can't control that. You control your behavior. You control how you show up in the relationship. You control your ability to actually complete the duty that you vowed that you took a vow to.
Oh, Miss
Over all of
JoJo.
this other external and most of the time BS that you don't have any control over. You cannot control the other person. I don't care how many times they use that word submissive and cooperative and agreeable and all these other terms. You cannot control the other person. But you can control what you do and how you respond to the other person. So I don't understand why in these spaces people talking about marriage, but they don't want to talk about what they're going to do. They want to talk about preferences and what they want to see in a mate. You can't control that person doing their duty. You control your part. That's why I've been married I've been married 18 years, 19 next year. And I'm hoping to make it to eternity. And the biggest lesson I had to learn was I don't control him. When I show up and do my part, that's when he shows up and do his part. And then if they don't do their part, well then, oh well, you have learned the lesson. So I don't understand, like, everybody wants to be married, everybody wants to talk about marriage, but nobody wants to start the conversation on, okay, this is what's within my control, and this is my level of duty. This is what I'm going to do. Like, I want to hear Black Trump talk about that.
Before he go, I just
okay. Are you? I'm sorry. Do you want me to go, or you wanted to go first?
I want you to go and all the other men who start the conversation with preferences and they don't start the conversation with, this is how I'm going to be a good husband. Because when people question me about my marriage, it's not about what Mosley does for me. It's about, this is what's working for us and this is what's within my control. Because if I start worrying about what this man ain't doing and what he don't do and all of this, I'm going to lose my mind. So I got to focus on my duty. I got to focus on what I vowed to do. And what I realized in year 7, 8 of marriage, when I focused on that part, then that's all I'm saying.
I just wanted to add I give Black Trump the benefit of the doubt. If he say he hasn't found a suitable woman, I get that, because I was at a point when I was like, I ain't found nobody for me and this and that happens. And I don't think a man changes his perspective about women in marriage until they find a woman that helps change their perspective. I don't think anyone should just be out here talking about, I'm ready for marriage, when they ain't found no one that makes them feel like they want to be with them for the rest of their life. Like, who does that? Like,
to be fair, what was you looking at though? What was you looking?
Huh?
Was you looking in the right places though?
See, the thing
But
is, I wasn't looking. I wasn't looking.
You
just
talked
happened.
about your behavior change though. But you did some work though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but see, the work that I did for me. It bettered me, and I guess it prepared me for marriage. You know what I'm saying? But I still wasn't before I proposed, before I got with my wife. I was not walking around talking that way about marriage. I was not. I was talking just like Trump. Like, I ain't found nobody. These women ain't right. You know what I'm saying? That's how I was talking. This is so I get him what he said. And if he's hasn't found that woman yet that makes him want to settle down, I guess that's a good thing, because I don't think he's proposed to a woman before, and I don't think he's like stringing women along. I don't know that about him, but if he hasn't been doing that, that's okay. If you
but when you but
hold on, let me finish. Hold on. He's in the 40s, so I would be worried about that, and I would be concerned now if he's looking for marriage. Now, some people just want to be single and play the field all their life. That's cool. I'm not like this big advocate for marriage, like everybody has to get married. I'm not. But what I'm saying is, if he's been looking and trying to figure things out, and he's in his 40s and he hasn't figured it out about women, then maybe, just maybe, he has to bend his preferences a little bit because you're not going to find nobody perfect. I don't care what you're talking about. If you're looking for that
Oh,
perfect
no
woman,
doubt, no
it's going
doubt.
to be
No,
fake.
I know that. I know that. Listen,
Yeah.
I get it. I know I'm not gonna find nobody perfect, but at the same sense, and don't get me wrong, I go on a lot of dates, man. I ain't gonna sit up here and lie and say I don't. Yeah, I do, but just the quality of the women, like back in the days when I was playing around doing my bullshit. I ain't gonna sit up here and lie. I was doing a lot of bullshit back in the days. There were women back then that could have been wife material, but I was at a place in my life that I didn't want the whole wife material thing, so I continued to play, which could have worked against me. Now is probably
So you manifested that type of woman basically with your behavior is what you're saying.
yeah. With my previous behavior, I think it's just like sometimes in life you say what goes around comes around, right? So
Mhm.
you played all those young years. It's not like I can't find a girl, but it's like even some of the ones that was probably good, real good. It's like damn. You look back on the day, it's like yeah, I could have wiped that up. I could have been with her and did that, but
So Black Trump,
I
now it's
is
I
that projection? Because a lot of you all say that that's what women are doing, that they're messing over all of these awesome,
no,
amazing
but it's different.
guys, and then
Listen, I don't mean to sound like
settle down later.
a misogynist,
Mhm.
but it's different for men than it is for women.
But you literally just said the same thing. You said you messed over and was playing around with a lot of good women that you should have married, and then now you're having a hard time, like finding, to someone to settle down with. So that's
Well, because
Right.
but the thing is,
when you
a
say,
a good part of me, I'm because I know exactly what I want now, and now now you know exactly what you want, you become a little stubborn, and you like, yo, listen, this is what I want. I want X, Y, and Z.
so
Those
what's the
three
difference
things.
between you saying that and then you guys also promoting that about that's what women are doing, that women are playing around in their younger years and then want to settle down later? Like, what's the difference between you and them?
Because my option of women I can select from is still better than the option of men you can select
But
from.
you
But how can
still
you say
don't have the
that?
person that you want. So what does it
That's
matter?
fine.
What is this
But
talking point?
Because
You
my
but
thing
you
is
said
my thing
you've
is about
you've
is
said
about a
you've dated.
certain. Listen, are you gonna let me finish? Or you
No,
gonna
I'm
cut me
not,
off?
because I've
Of
been quiet
course
for
not.
a
Of
long
course
time.
not.
No, it's
Of
not. Of
course not.
course not.
I've
I've been
yet to
quiet for a long
complete.
time. You've been
Trump, you've been
talking,
talking for like 5
and you
minutes. Let
did the
somebody
same
get
thing
a
to
get a
Jovo.
second.
How I've been
Exactly.
talking about 5 minutes? I keep getting interrupted every time I talk.
Right. Come on now, bro. Like,
I mean, every time I talk, I get interrupted. I have not completed one item yet without somebody jumping in and saying, "Well, is this or this?" It's like, yo, I
well, it's
can't
a
get it finished.
conversation. It's not really like a monologue kind of feel. So a lot of times people are gonna respond to what you
No,
say.
it's in a female nature to be triggered. That's what it is.
What do you tend to say things to your male counterparts and nobody responds to them?
Well, males and females are different. I
So
don't even
you
want to
just
go
say
there
things in
tonight.
your group and nobody says anything back?
you made that clear.
But
Trump,
like you just be
Trump,
We
like
ain't
Trump,
even
Trump.
go
What
there.
what
you just
what
be
do you
like
what do you
the sun
want?
is green and nobody responds to that?
No, they at least would let you finish talking about why would you think the sun is green, and then you would hear the motherfucker out, and then you be like, all right, that dude's
No, no.
crazy or
I,
whatever.
I need to know.
So,
I need to
Oh,
know
okay.
from you.
Black
What do
Trump,
you
I'm
want?
sorry.
What do you want, Trump?
I accidentally got booted out or whatever. Like, it was a thing with my phone. But the thing that you do where you're like, are you gonna let me finish? Of course not. You even did that to Jovo, and she is just very, very diplomatic. So like, I've seen that this is just something that you say and do. So I'm gonna
When
not
did I do
I'm
that to
not
her?
you literally did. I was sitting here listening as I was unpacking a box. I
Because
was
she
sitting
just
here
asked me a question, and I was answering it.
okay, okay. But
Okay.
so if you have all these qualities and all these things, and you know all the keys to a good marriage and whatnot, and you're 40 something, and you still haven't been able to secure the woman that you want, even with your passport, traveling around the world, all these things, and you refuse to say that it could be an issue within you. I think that that's something you might want to be a little bit more introspective about, and that's not an insult or anything like that. I heard you talking earlier, like a few minutes ago, about like back in the day, there were good women. I think there's a cognitive bias called paternalism. Can somebody Google it? I think it's called paternalism, where you look to the past and be like, back in the day, things were so much better. If y'all do different than back then, things are gonna get better.
So you're honestly saying women is the same as they were back then? Stop it.
Black Trump, wait, just calm down. I understand this is a topic that makes you emotional, but
Not at all.
Okay, well then settle yourself. I'm being very objective. I'm just talking. I'm just asking you questions. I'm not trying to and again, like I said earlier, if there's anything you don't want to talk about, let me know and I won't push it.
Well, it's called rosy retrospection.
Thinking about things from the past and saying, oh my goodness. Yep. Thing is, if you're 40 something now, you're talking about back when you were 20, 22, before your even frontal lobe was fully developed. Like, you don't think that maybe this could just be some fantasy you're building in your head, instead of facing reality that in the present day life that you're in, you don't have what you want and there's a reason. The same way you would be able to tell a woman, imagine if there was a woman that came up and said the same thing. Yeah, back in the day, blah, 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 blah. There were all these good men, but I was out doing this and that, and I passed over them. And now I'm 40 something like you. And I am, in this situation, and there's just no good men. Can you imagine what you would say, Black Trump?
It's different for a man and a woman. I just explained that last time.
But it's not.
What is it that you don't understand? What is it? Why is it so hard for you to comprehend that?
It's not different. It's a cognitive thing.
It is.
It's not different. It's not.
Yeah, it is.
See, when I see what's going on, you all have developed this perspective about women and these thinking patterns. And I'm a big believer in the law of attraction. And a lot of black men are a big believer when it comes to business and tangible things. They believe in the law of attraction. But for some odd reason, they forget that law also applies to the other things in their lives. So if my thought process is there are no black women out here, there are no good black women out here, there are no women that I can actually, link to, relate to, there are no good women to marry, then you keep putting that out there, that's what you're getting.
And Miss, as a black man, you can get. You know what the beauty it is for a black man? A black man can get a Maria. A black man can get a Susie.
Well, then why
a black man can get a Chung Lee. Regardless, but if you listen to what I say, like I say, you women don't listen. Women have not listened. Listen, you have like anything else. You don't listen. I'm looking for a chocolate woman. Is the difference?
Nobody wants to talk about their behavior and their thought process.
Oh gosh!
It's deflected and thrown back on the opposite sex every single time.
I'm curious.
You have said nothing about your thought process as it comes to women. So my thing is, if there are no good black women, if there are no good black women to marry in your thought process and in your world, then you will never find a good black woman to marry.
And that's fine. And listen, I'm Gucci. It doesn't bother me.
You're not Gucci. No, you're not Gucci.
Yeah, I am. See, now you're getting emotional.
Hold on.
It's getting emotional on your side. It's not emotional on me.
Emotions are the alarm system to our bodies. They tell us when something is trying to intrude.
Hey, it's Hollywood. You're getting emotional now.
Okay. That's my insult to a therapist.
You're triggered. It's not that serious.
No, I'm not triggered. You just deflecting from what I said about the law of attraction.
No, I'm not.
That's all that is.
I'm not.
Again,
we don't function the same.
For a reason, and then you started
I was quiet because I was letting y'all speak. That's the reason why I was quiet.
It's okay. If you're shaking, that's all right. That's all right.
Shaking, stuttering. Oh gosh.
Because
this will be the best y'all can come up with.
I really believe, Trust, you're gonna be okay.
Because these are the facts.
Not at all, miss.
You came here last week and told us about how you pretty much dogged the woman in a relationship.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts.
Hold on. And then this week you telling us that during the time when you could settle down, you you didn't want to settle down, and you did have some encounters with some quality women. So the common denominator don't sound like the women that were dating Black Trump. The common denominator sounds like Black Trump. But then when we talk about Black Trump's behavior and thought process, he runs and starts talking about his passport. There's something there, sir.
Did I not pull up the douchebag card and say I admit I was a douchebag back then? Did I not? You're not bringing anything to the table new that I have already admitted to.
Okay,
I'm lost. I'm utterly confused.
No, you're not lost. You heard what I said. You heard exactly what I said.
I'm utterly confused.
Okay, hold on.
I repeated. You repeated the same thing I just said. You repeated everything. I have not denied anything I said.
Hold on, everybody. Wait a minute. We got to stop the presses. We got Ashley Michelle.
Learn how to mute when you want to say
something. Hey, Ashley.
Hey, Ashley. Hey, y'all.
Hi, Ashley.
What's up, Ash? Ashley, I knew you couldn't stay away. I already knew it.
Ashley, what do you have to add to the shenanigans? Like,
I know the shenanigans. Well, okay, here's the thing.
Welcome back, Ashley. I thought you retired, but welcome back.
Thank you. Well, I'm a guest now. So great conversation as usual, you guys. I'm so proud of y'all. But Raven had a really good point in the comments. She said, I truly believe good women are avoiding men like BT, and he lacks the introspection to see that. And then Kay was getting at it too. She's like, well, you're 40-something years old, and you supposedly have it all together. You know, you're just a great, ideal man, right? And she asked the question, well, why do you think you're single? And Black Trump's response is, well, I'm a man. It's different. Unfortunately, a lot of Black men, and not all, because we have like a lot of men who don't operate like this, but we do have a lot of brothers, especially in the social media, world, YouTube, these podcasts, men coming out the woodworks because they feel like, oh, now I finally have a voice. We have a lot of these guys coming on who think like that, who think they can spend 12 years of their life messing around with women that they don't want to be with, being any type of person, being whoever they want to be, doing whatever they want to do, not really truly building character, not really truly preparing themselves to be somebody's husband. And they think, oh, well, when I'm 43, I got all these options, and my clock is not ticking as fast, and there's just so many guys out there like that who really don't think that they have to be husband material. Like, it's all on us to be like wife material. And Black Trump, I know you said this on the last show. You were like, well, men are the ones who ask for your hand in marriage. We're the ones who propose. And you're right. You do propose, and you're the one who initiates that, right? And I think a lot of men think, oh, well, since I'm the one who asked her for the ring, or tell her or gives her the ring, she has to earn me, And my thing is like, that doesn't mean that you don't have to be a certain type of man. And so y'all really do think, because Kevin Samuels and society got y'all thinking that y'all can literally do and be anything. And you can be 45 and you supposed to just have women vying for you, and everybody needs to get on your program, and you just so great and you so perfect. There's just a lack of introspection there. And it's like, we'll never get anywhere. And I've seen this so many times, like even today in conversations where it's like men, a lot of brothers are like Trump, like, I'm a man, I don't have to do nothing. And so it's just really sad because, like you guys talk about on the show all the time, marriage is work, and it takes two people, and it's not just about what the woman does and what she doesn't do. It's about a man too, and who he is as a person. So, Black Trump, I love that you continue to support the show, but you just come with a lot of nonsense, and it's not
Respectfully, I respect that. I
I wanted
respect
to
it.
point out. I wanted to know if y'all heard, if y'all recognize the fact that he said it's a lot of men out here that ain't shit, and it's a lot of awesome women out here.
Yeah.
Y'all heard when he said that, right?
Yeah.
No, because he said that 80% of men are good men. So how is all these women?
No. This is what he said. He said what he can easily get him a woman, but women can't easily get them a good man. So that means it's
A
a lot
good
of good
man
women
that
out here to pick
produces
from.
and
It is not a
provides.
lot of good men
Yes,
out here to
that's
pick
true.
from.
That's
What
facts.
does that
Why
mean?
can't
That's
you
facts.
easily get the woman
A
you want?
woman true value and woman real true value with a man that has his shit together is youth and fertility.
Oh,
So then
Black
why
Trump,
can't
that
you
is so
easily?
nice of you to say that there
I'm
are
just saying
more
that
good
that's
women out here than there are
and
good.
I don't mean it to be offensive. I don't mean it to be offensive at all.
No,
I
it's not
don't.
offensive at all.
I
Actually,
don't mean to be offensive. I'm just
it's
saying
not offensive.
that's how a lot of us think that, miss, but we
Hey,
just don't say
Joko.
it. We don't say
Hi.
it.
You just
No,
That's
said
the
no,
it.
that
You
problem.
no,
just said it.
that literally
Actually, you
wasn't
just said it.
offensive. I was literally giving you kudos to say that
Exactly.
we appreciate you acknowledging that there are a lot more options for good women out here than there are for good men. You just acknowledged it, and we appreciate you for acknowledging that.
I don't. If I did, congratulations. I mean, I don't know what to
No, you
say.
did.
You know,
You said that you have more options for good women than a woman your age has for good men, right?
I says good men, a man that got his shit together, right?
Uh-huh.
That's producer, provider, protector, and does what he's supposed to do,
It's
right?
not a lot of those.
There's a lot. Well,
Okay.
there's you know what, Rick, don't lie. Listen,
See,
listen.
here we go
Isn't
with
it
Let me not
80%?
lie. Let me take
I'm
that
very
back.
I
Let me.
thought it was
surprised.
There are
80%.
some. I'm not gonna
Who's
say there's a lot.
80%?
No, it's
right,
not. I
Supreme.
don't know. I don't know how many because I don't sit up here and say how
He
many of y'all
literally came
produce or
up here
do
the
this.
first time and said it was 70% of black men that had their shit together. Today,
Exactly.
there are no percents. That's why I cut up their words and put them
Not,
side by side because they
you're
contradict
talking
themselves
about
every
having
single
their shit.
time.
Listen, you're talking about having their shit
Right.
together
Every
and having
single
a good
time they
man
contradict
to
themselves every
produce and
time.
provide. There's two different languages.
Oh, now we adding caveats. Okay, thanks.
I'm still waiting on the leader aspect of it. Where did all these leaders come from?
You don't know
Listen,
where they at
man.
either.
There's no way 80% of anyone is going to be a leader of a group in terms of
Well,
one
it doesn't matter because you black
in
women won't follow anyway, so it doesn't matter.
in terms of one position.
No,
Why would you?
everybody is
My
very
brother,
You sisters,
my
Everyone
you
is
brother,
sisters are
from a
not gonna lead
leadership.
anyway. You're not gonna listen
my
anyway.
brother, my
Who
brother,
said
Respectfully.
that? Who
Everyone
said
can
my
that,
have a
Black
brother.
Trump?
Why would
leadership
you say that?
position.
Black
Why would
Trump.
you
Everyone can
say?
have a
Why would you
I
say
leadership
don't.
that?
I just
position.
think it
No,
goes
Black
back to
Trump. Who
even
said
it
they're
goes
not gonna
back
let
to
men
single
lead?
motherhood, man.
No,
You know,
no,
even when
Black Trump.
Do you
kids
know
can't
that single
No,
mothers
I
Trump,
want to
raise
ask
single
him
mothers?
listen.
who was the
Trump,
day that
Let
you're
said that.
trauma dumping. You're trauma
listen.
dumping.
Wait,
It ain't
Basically,
trauma dumping.
Literally,
it
like you
is.
not
Comes
even
from
staying on topic.
single
You're
You just
mothers.
trauma
saying a bunch of
dumping.
shit.
Single mothers. When you in the household and you're
Single
married,
mothers,
You would
you
if
need
you are
can't talk.
married,
You gotta
black
shut up when a
women.
black woman talk. Oh, you're feminine if you argue
okay,
back. You
Trump.
what
I
other
don't
culture of
understand
do
this
you
people
know
do that
single
energy
besides
that
mothers
we're
ours?
raise the
literally on
best
the
Trump, you're
call
kids?
with so
trauma
many
dumping.
married women. I don't
Do you know
understand why
single
you keep
mothers
bringing this
can
up.
raise
Like
the best
I don't
kids
get it.
in the community
Right.
as long as they
No,
have
that's not true. Single
No,
mothers do not raise
no,
the best
no.
kids.
If
That's a
they're in a
lie.
healthy environment in a healthy community, they raise
That's
good
a
children.
lie. We on lie.
That
Now
is not
you
a lie.
capping.
That is
You
not a lie,
capping.
sir. That is not a lie.
Show me your statistics.
That is,
You have
I don't
stats
go
that
by.
prove
That's the
that?
one thing I don't
I'm
go
still
by
trying
is
to figure out who
statistics because
said
you
who
know
not gonna let these
they're
black men
always
lead. That's what I'm
they're
trying to
always
figure
moving
out.
the goalposts. They're
Can
always
I
moving the.
ask Black
Who
Trump?
who told y'all we weren't gonna let black men lead? That's what I want to know. I keep
Black
hearing
Trump
that in
so
these
tired.
spaces.
These talking points so
I don't know
tired.
who told y'all that. Like
Okay,
somebody came
listen.
from
No, I'm
behind y'all.
reality.
Y'all
And,
are so
and I know
tired.
it
Who told
hurts.
So you
y'all
I'm
mean to
that?
so
tell
Y'all
me?
very
hate it.
tired.
Y'all know
Y'all
who
hate it.
Joko,
told
it's
today.
internet talking points that
No,
people
it's
just
not
feel
internet
they
talking
feel
points. It's
Because
facts.
I've never told Mr. Mosley that he don't lead this household. And a lot of women that I
Okay, does your
know
man
that
lead
are,
your? Can I ask you something? Do your man lead his household? Yes or no?
he does
Why don't
lead
you
his
ask me?
household.
I'm right
He
Okay,
leads
here.
his house.
next, Miss, over in the corner, in the top right, left hand corner. I'm sorry, I can't see your name because I'm looking on my phone. Does your man lead your household?
Sure.
Okay, Miss, excuse me, you're directly below me. Does your man leave his household?
yeah.
We on lot. Do you leave lead your household?
We both do.
Oh my
Why
gosh!
you didn't
See,
ask me? You didn't ask me. Ask
I was
me.
getting to you. I was getting.
Okay. Ask
Who
me.
You know
leads your
what, Trump?
household?
Wait.
Who
I'm
leads
gonna
your
answer.
household?
Trump,
Who leads
people
your
do
household?
what works.
No.
If
He answer the question.
people do
Who
what
leads your
works,
household? I'm asking
Whoever
the
leads
woman
your
above
household.
me.
Whoever leads
people
your
do what
marriage.
works.
Okay. So most of the women
And
on the panel is being led by their men, which follows the
We're
rule
being
of
led by
fucking
however you
nature.
lead your wife. How you lead your wife?
I don't even know what that
It
means.
follows the rules of nature. So why are y'all arguing with me then?
no, that's not what anyone's arguing, Black Trump.
No, I think
Exactly.
all of y'all
She gonna be
slightly
single for a long
lost.
time, complaining on
Exactly.
panels.
No, I never said what. I never. There is no problem. I just won't deal with certain
Well,
type of
why are
women.
you
There's not a
here
problem.
complaining about
It's
marriage?
only a problem if I want to deal with it. If I
You
want to
just
deal with
said
it,
you
it's a
talked about
Okay,
problem.
y'all, pause.
But
Because
wait.
y'all know.
I have a question.
Wait a
I have a
minute. Hold
question.
on. Wait a minute. Y'all know we'll go around forever with Black Trump with his shenanigans. Every Wednesday he come through.
I
He come
understand,
through
but
with
I
his
just had this
shenanigans.
one particular question. I gotta get off. There's one
Okay.
particular question. If you think that a black woman, you can't get with a black woman because she's not being submissive and all this, and she's being
It's not necessarily
rebellious.
non-submissive. She doesn't have the
Let's
full
just say
package. But
she's
go
being
ahead.
rebellious. Let's just say she's being rebellious. What happens when you get with a white woman and she's doing the exact same thing?
He's going to jail.
I never had a problem with white women. Never had a
He's never
problem with
met a
Spanish
Karen in
woman.
his life.
You
In
just
his 43 years, he's never met a Karen. Get
Baby
out of
girl, I
here.
had plenty of
Wait,
Karens.
y'all.
Trust
Look,
me.
Trump
During
said
my whole
two
days,
times. He said two
it's
times
just
he
not the
just
same
want
dating
one
them. They
though.
just
He
not
said
my
he wants
type.
a dark-skinned woman.
Ugh,
He said it
can't
twice.
do it.
Now he's going on to say, to stroke his own ego back, to say, "Oh my goodness, I never have a problem." Even though you just talked about multiple times
But
when we
because
asked
I
you,
just said multiple times I don't
when
want to date
when
nothing
we
but a
asked
chocolate
you,
sister. But why
when
are you going on with anything else?
when we asked you about the whole passport thing, I think Supreme was like, "Do you have a passport? Is it stamped?" You were like, "I
Plenty
don't
of
want to
stamps.
deal with."
Absolutely.
You talked about how you didn't want to deal with other women, but now when you're being questioned about black women or whatever or anything, you're like, "Well, I never had that problem with white women." Then go be with a white woman. I have no issue with interracial relationships. Find the white woman that makes you happy.
Oh my gosh! You know what? It's like a round robin. I just explained what the situation was. I said I'm looking for a chocolate, dark skinned chocolate sister. Did I have I not
And
have
you
I
So
deviated
again,
from that at
you
all?
didn't.
Okay, moving forward. I made that so clear, but I keep going on. Well, why don't you go with
You're
the
the one
Spanish
who
one?
you're
Why
the
don't you
one
go
who
with the
brought
white
up.
one?
You
Why don't
brought
you
up.
go with this one?
Oh my
And it's like you're not even
We
listening.
all got
Trump.
okay, hold on. We all got to leave Black Trump alone. I am very disappointed in you, Supreme Super Saiyan wives, because you know you are supposed to be submissive to this man on this panel. And
He has not paid for those courses. He
I
has
don't
not
pay
paid
for
for
the
those
courses.
courses.
but
He has
Do you
not paid
take
for
an
those
IOU?
courses.
we're gonna
Every
say
last one of y'all women are submissive, and y'all just on this panel capping. Every last one of y'all are. And it's fine. I respect it. But don't come on the panel act like you're not, because y'all all are.
I still don't know what your definition of that is.
Exactly. Sure, whatever. Sure.
Your
But see
definition
how
of
the
submissive is cooking and
conversation.
cleaning, so that's not very hard to be submissive.
Exactly.
Oh God, my behavior. Yes, I do. Chocolate. Don't forget chocolate. Don't forget chocolate. Put. Yeah. Okay. Now we understand. All right. Now let's continue.
Okay, so I had
It ain't
Supreme-
nothing wrong with chocolate, brother.
Supreme Super Saiyan wife sent me a clip so that
Oh yes.
we can go ahead on a fun note, because we already know, we can already expect, like we definitely gonna have Black Trump gonna hop up here. Rush
And
gonna
make
come
a
up here with
mess.
his shenanigans. We gonna go around the world for a few minutes, and then we gonna end on a lighter note. Something fun. We wanted to throw up here just to get everybody's opinion, see what you're gonna say. So I hope that this video plays properly, but
I'll give a preface if you want me to.
Yeah. Go ahead and preface it, Supreme.
Okay, so the video goes off. I don't know if the sound is gonna be, because I can't find the original one. So this one has like sound effects, I think, or whatever. The young lady on the floor, the chocolate sister, apparently she works out in the same gym as the young lady that's approaching her. The young lady that approached her, her man told her that the chocolate lady was giving him the eye. So she told the chocolate young woman they can go in the parking lot and duke it out. So that's what this video is.
Okay.
Those men, they like to see cat fights because they themselves are catty as heck. If you find that a man wants you to go back and forth with a woman, you are a fool to even talk to him, let alone to even go attack a woman. Leave that man with his messiness and his pads over there, and you move forward with your life and allow him to continue on with his messy life.
Okay.
You want Trizzy to go first, or you want somebody else?
Wait, we ain't asked the question yet. Trump,
Wait a minute.
answer.
She has to ask the question. She has to ask the question.
Jeez. So the question is, keep it lighthearted, Trump. We tried to do this last week, and you went on a tangent.
No, I was quick last week.
Wait a minute. Keep it lighthearted. The question is, do you push up on somebody that's giving your partner the eye? Now, I'm not talking about like she done touched your partner booty or anything like that, but like she giving him the across the bar or something like that. Do you approach the person? All right, Trump, go ahead. You can answer.
No, I don't even get involved in that.
Okay.
Because,
so if somebody giving your girl, licking their lips over there, doing all that, you're not gonna say nothing?
no, absolutely not. It's her response, how she responds to it. Now, if she smiled back at it, I check her. I don't check him.
Okay.
Facts.
Miss Jovo, what would you do if some little thing was like?
Man, if y'all knew how many times this has happened to me. I keep telling y'all I'm married to my husband's roommate in college was like the football player. Okay, so all the time, no matter where we went, even now, and man, ain't nobody got time for that because I know where he gonna be at later. I already know that. So I mean, nobody has time and energy for that. No. And then if it's flipped around, because like I mean, I take care of home very well. So I'm not even, that's a whole nother show. I'm not even worried about that. Like, I've had guys hit on me. I've had clients, like, because I keep telling y'all, I have majority male clients. I have clients who have asked me to dinner. They have offered to pay money, pay bills, do all this different stuff. Ooh. And it's like every time I'm like, bam. Because I know my role, I know my duty. So it comes with the territory, but I'm not falling for that.
Okay. Kay, what would you do if, some chick was trying to push up on your boo?
That clip of the gym situation, oh my goodness, I would not do all that. Like, that was all conjecture. She's like, but I thought I saw you. Like, what? But if it were something like seriously and it was just like disrespectful in my face, I would address it. But I don't know. I don't really see that happening. But if something like that happened right in front of my face, I would address it kindly and, diffuse the situation, and she would be on her merry way. Like it wouldn't even be a problem. Like I
Hold
would
on, Kay. How would you diffuse it kindly? I need to know how this works.
I feel a death
like
stare coming.
I mean, what is she doing exactly? Like coming over while I was at the bathroom or something? And
Like she
The
over there
girl in the
looking at
video said that all she does was like
She
give
like
him
she
the
like
up and
giving him the
down.
shoulder.
right, like Supreme. Now that situation, I wouldn't even address. Like, come on. But now
But if she's showing some skin,
if I come over and like, my man is like, nah, I got a wife or whatever, and you're still pushing up on him, and I see you, like, I'm gonna address it. But
now that's different.
are you
yeah,
scrapping? That is the question. Are y'all scrapping? Are y'all going to the parking lot and duking it out?
I'm a lover, not a fighter. I use my words. My mind, my nine. I definitely,
I'm about to use
I
that like tomorrow. My mind is my 9. Yep.
that's the late great Big L. But yeah, I definitely would talk it through. Like I've just never been in any situation like that. Because usually when you come up to somebody respectfully or just like, assuming that they had good intentions, they back off or they don't even try to keep pushing. Like I've never been in that situation where somebody was just like, I don't care if it's your man or not. Like, no. I don't think
I have a story about that. I have a story with somebody.
Hold on a second, Ms. Jovo. Hold on one second.
Oh my God.
Darwin, what would you do?
Oh Lord.
I'm very bipolar with that situation. It's three things. It's three things that typically I would do in certain situations. One situation, I might just start making out with my wife in front of the person, and looking at them like, yeah, what's up? You know what I'm saying? And try to, antagonize them and fuck with them a little bit.
Canna be sitting there like, what's going on?
No, she'll know. She'll definitely know what's going on. And then two, I would, hey, go talk to him, have him buy us some drinks, because there's been times guys try to talk to her and she'll get a drink specifically for me and bring it to me and I'll drink it. And if he's mad about it, oh well, we can whatever. And three, if I'm in a fight mood, I might go and say something to him and hope he say the wrong thing so I can clear his ass out. That's how, I mean, either one of them is going to happen. You know what I'm saying? On any given night, I don't know what personality might come out. I might be in a good mood, or I might want to drink, or I might want to fight. So, I mean, I'm going to approach the situation. It just depends on how I'm going to approach it.
That's funny. Dr. Eugene Steele, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, let me say this. First, if somebody try to hit on my woman, I'd be too busy focusing on my woman to even notice somebody hitting on her, and I'm sure that my woman would be too busy focusing on me to noticing him, hitting on her. So, I mean, that's nothing. And besides, I mean, if fellas want to stare, hey, they can look all they want, but I'm the only one who can touch her.
Oh
yeah, I'm not worried about them.
That's sweet. Ashley, what you got? How many fights you done got into?
Girl, none. I wouldn't even entertain that. Like, I would more so be looking, just, and not even watching, but just, I guess, mindful of like how my man responds. Like, as long as he's respectful, I wouldn't care. If she's flirting, I'll probably like joke with him. Like, yeah, she cute, whatever. Like, she wants you, I would just joke with him about it. I wouldn't take it seriously. I'm not really the jealous type. As long as he's respectful to me, like, it's just something I wouldn't take very seriously. So I wouldn't be getting into no fights about it.
Okay, what you got? We on lock.
But I gotta go, y'all.
Thank you, Ash.
Bye, Ash.
Bye.
All right. Y'all lit tonight. All right. Good night, y'all.
Good night. Okay, we on Lock Nation. What you got?
All I got to do is stare at him one time. I said, look, go somewhere. Go play house with somebody.
The voice. Oh my God.
You just need to just go before I get violent.
Allstate insurance, man.
That's what you gonna do. That's how you gonna sound.
He got the Batman voice.
And all intents and purposes, God is with you. How do I know? Because he's with me right now. So go on somewhere before I get violent, and God be with you next time you ever do that to me again. Because I wouldn't do that to you, and you certainly wouldn't do that to me. Okay?
That's what you gonna say.
Oh my God, that is hilarious. But I can see him doing that in my mind. I just picture that whole scenario.
So you know what? You the one who asked the question, but what would you do? I feel like you're gonna be trying to bench press the bitch. Like that's how I feel.
Raven, I keep bond and bail money on standby.
Well, because I am a Supreme Super Saiyan wife, I would allow my covering
Yellow
to do whatever he needed to do to handle that situation. So if he needs to look at her in his soul, then he should look at her because that is the head of my household. And as a Super Supreme wife, that's what you're supposed to do. Now, but in real life, I think it would just depend, kind of like what Kay was saying, depending on like the severity of the flirt. Like I've had women freaking like we went out on a date and this bartender purposely brought any other time the waiter brings the drink to the table. While she sauteed her little self to bring the drink all the way to the table, lean over and be like, I made it really strong for you. Bitch, what about mine? Mine can't be strong. I want a strong drink too. I wanted a strong drink too. Now what? So, of course, I drank the drink, just like what Darwin was saying. Now it's my drink and it's ours. We're going to share it now because you're doing all this. But yeah, it just depends. I do think, kind of like what Darwin was saying, if she's getting feisty, I might get feisty back. Let's just see what the night takes us. Let's just see what happens.
See, I'm glad you brought that
let's
part
play.
up. I'm glad you brought that part up because, yeah, I've had situations where even with women I've known, like when I first started dating my husband, and Kay, thank you for the compliment for me being diplomatic because I try to be. My grandma, she did a great job, but then there is another side to me where I will tear all this stuff up. Like I have triggers because I'm a Gemini, and I have triggers. So I remember
furniture moving.
Right. I remember a situation where she basically was calling me out, and I was younger, and at that moment, it's like when your trigger hits you, it's just like, okay, she wants to know. And my husband, he kind of firmly pulled me back, like, okay, I know what this is about to turn into. And I'm like, no, she calling for me. She calling. I'm about to answer. Like, she want to answer. And, I had to, he had to like really rein me back in. I had to think about the consequences of what I'm about to do. And I couldn't, so yeah. So
you don't want to break a nail.
Or hurt her. Like, I don't want to do that because I have, so it just depends. Or the time somebody tried to roll up on me. I'm having a family outing. My daughter's right here. And my daughter's looking at the other woman like, and I'm looking at her like, what in the world is going on? Like, why are you looking at him like this? Like, it's just, and I had to think about it. My daughter's standing here, right? So I can't she just kind of, we were at a fair and she had extra tickets. And instead of just saying to me, oh, we have extra tickets left over, they were leaving out, she just kind of sashays over to him, like Raven said, oh, we have extra tickets for you and your daughter. Like, I'm not even standing there. And I'm like, okay. Like, what is this?
Does that piss you off? That would definitely piss me off.
I mean, I got pissed, but then again, my daughter's there and she's watching me and she's watching what I'm going to do. So, my husband, he's looking at me while I'm looking at him and he just like, well, thanks for the tickets, but you can give them to my wife. And when he said that, she had that, that look. And ladies, y'all know that look like, oh.
That's when you trip her up just a little bit. Just trip her up a little bit when she walk off. Don't hurt her. Just put your foot out so she like, oops, so she remember.
And then I had to pull. I had to pull an Yvette from Baby Boy. Like I had to be like, like.
Yeah, the thing is that I don't think like I just can't care. Like I can't like everybody said, if I'm gonna be more so looking at my partner and be like, what you doing? But outside of that, it's funny to me. I think it's hilarious. Like I just think it's funny. But maybe that's because I'm like so goofy and silly. But I think like everything is funny. So like I think it's hilarious. And yeah,
I refuse to believe that. If somebody was for real trying to get at your man, you just be like, kiki. You're so silly.
Yeah, I don't
what?
Like no, Darwin couldn't.
You don't feel like that's like disrespectful?
Could you picture me
like
trying to fight a girl, man? Could you imagine me? Like, no, I'm not. I would just be like,
you wouldn't even be like, we're together, or anything like that.
Why would she see me together?
I can totally.
You know what? Don't come to Vegas, then.
I can totally see Cannon react in the way that she said that she would react, because just how, Cannon's very opinionated and has a lot to say, but at the same token, it's like, I'm going to express my opinion and my thoughts, but I don't really care what y'all think. I'm just sharing with y'all. This is what it is. And I love that about her. Like, just
so it's like
I can totally see her being like, "Oh, okay, you think he cute?"
Right. It's like I would feel like if I reacted like some crazy way that would. I feel like I would have to feel threatened, right? And then if I actually like feel threatened, then I'm gonna have to investigate. Like, why would I feel threatened? Like, I'm gonna be like, what is going on here? But it's like, but I wouldn't. So it'd just be funny to me. It would just be
I would feel like it's like a woman to woman thing. Like woman to woman. Like why are you doing this?
I don't know that woman. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I don't know what that person got going on and what they've been through. Knock yourself out. But
that's why we can't have a sisterhood, right here. That's why we cannot have a sisterhood.
Because they can't get on cold.
Like, I'm not even like, to me, that's like just an interesting story for the evening. Like, remember that time we went out and that chick was acting like, haha, like it just wouldn't even.
See, Raven, you should have called me in college, and then maybe my feelings would have been a little different. It's like, okay, we about to bust her head. Okay, we gonna bust her head open and ask questions later. But
no, I think it just depends like the severity.
So
like you
violent.
Whatever, but like to a certain extent, like come on now you're trying me. Now I feel like
you can't try me though. What are you doing? Like, you cannot try me. Like, what are you doing that's trying me? Like, you're just making yourself look stupid.
See, the thing with men, from where I'm from, if you don't check something, it might escalate. And I've seen plenty of times if a man don't check another man from hitting on his wife, he might get a little bit more aggressive, and bold and feel like, oh, he a punk. I'm about to go take his girl. So
I've seen that happen.
For me, when I know I got mad at my wife one night for telling me afterwards. Like, she told me afterwards, a dude tried to holler at her, and I was hot. I'm talking about I was hot.
What night was this? When was this?
Okay.
You got mad at her?
Because the thing is this, like, now what next time she's out maybe by herself with some girls, now he's gonna feel like, he can come and talk to her, or we out together, and now he's a little bit more bolder now. And he come and talk to her while I'm there.
Or she might not see him again. I'm just throwing it out there.
Okay. He out there. Every time she go out, he out there to me.
Darwin,
Since I didn't see his face, he's everybody now.
Darwin, when I was clubbing in college, there was a song that came out, and it was very popular because we were into crump music. I came to the club just to fight. And that situation right there, I've seen some fights. Matter of fact, the last time I went to a nightclub with my friends, my husband, his friends, like, they got into an altercation. It was one of my friends' birthdays. Her husband, like, intervened, but then he, like, ran away, and then the other dudes that were with us had to take up for his wife, and it just made for a complicated situation. People were pulling out guns, and I'm a therapist. I'm sitting there like holding people's jacket. I'm in shock. I'm traumatized. So now I'm looking at security like, what's the fastest way out of here? And now I'm pulling my husband because now he done morphed back into who he used to be. It's like, oh, I'm going to my car. I'm going to my car. And they ain't going to their car to, sit in there. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
it's like, okay, you don't need nobody to die tonight. I want to go home alive, So you got to really be able to, this is where emotional intelligence checks in. Isn't that the phrase for the week? That's when emotional intelligence, really has to step in. And you have to really know how to read situations. Because if you don't, you can end up making an already awkward situation worse than what it is.
I definitely agree with that. That was go ahead, babe.
I'm kicking ass.
My wife.
I'm kicking ass.
That was a good topic, Raven. That was a perfect
I love
topic.
it.
That was a perfect topic to go ahead and close out on, something lighthearted, after Black Trump and, Rush, they come up here, they trigger us, but it's all in good fun. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all for supporting the show.
We do.
So
but
everybody,
I would just like to say
already, go ahead and click that like button, share this with your friends. We are growing as a channel and we appreciate your continued support. So now I am going to give everyone an opportunity to give their famous last words as we go ahead and close it out for the evening. Who wants to start?
I want to start, please.
Okay. let me give you your, how do I make you?
So it's not even a last word. I just, Canon, how I am. Supreme, Jovo, anybody, a lot of y'all know how I am. If I say something or I misspeak, I like to correct it. And when I said my mind's my 9, I think I said Big L, but it was Biggie Smalls. So that was all I wanted to do because I was thinking about it and I was like, as soon as I said it, I was like, oh my God.
You had to set the record straight. You had to set the record straight.
Let's set the record straight. I meant Biggie. All right, that was it. But yeah, I really enjoyed being here tonight. Thank you so much for inviting me. It was great.
No, thank you for coming through. It is a great thing as always. I love hearing you speak and hearing your takes on things. And also I love hearing the questions that you ask. You ask the best questions. But thank you for coming through. Hopefully you come by again. Go ahead and shout out your channel too, Kay.
So me and Kayla and I, my lovely co-host, have a show on Mondays on the Lapeef Network. And then, of course, the Thursday show on the Lapeef Network, which airs tomorrow. Both are at 7:30 Central Time. Be sure to tune in.
Yep. Make sure you holler at Kay. She is fun. Very fun. Thank you, lady. All right. Who wants to go next? Okay. We on lock. I will go ahead and give you your solo spot.
Well, as usual, appreciate for you guys having me up on here. And I think the last time we spoke, it wasn't really too sweet because, again, we were talking about being human. It's hard being human nowadays, but the only thing we can do is just keep on rolling with the punches. And once again, to the Mr. and Mrs., my bad for being human, if you know what I mean. But, again, I love it up here. It's a refresher, and I can just be myself. Now, if anybody has a problem with it, they can come onto the We on Lock channel and we can have a discussion. Now, if you want to have a discussion, we can do it as gentlemen or we can do it as some gangster. So that's where I'm at. Not this week, but next week. So thank you everybody for having me up here. I love it up here. Mr. and Mrs. Cannon, Jobo. Who am I missing?
Kay.
Oh, I love Kay. I love the hell out of Kay. I love the hell out of Kay. And I love the hell out of some Kayla.
Thank you.
So you're welcome.
Thank you. We unlock. All right. Who going next? Okay, Miss Jovo.
Shout out to Kay and Rush and Black Trump. Shout out to Kay's Afro as always. Kay, them straight up Afro goals right there. Okay. And yeah, you know what comment I'm talking about on what post. Whoever said anything about your girl, I was fighting them about your Afro. Okay, just like it was mine. Famous last words. Sometimes you the common denominator. Like if you've been out X amount of times with X amount of many people, and you have developed this attitude that all women are bad, all men are bad, maybe it's you. Maybe you need to do some work. Log off. Go do some self work. Those are my words.
Good stuff. That's self work. Self work make the dream work.
Exactly.
All right. Okay, who's next? Who wants to go next?
I just wanted to piggyback off of Miss Jovo and say when I was out there doing my thing, being a bad person, I was attracting bad females. And when I started working on myself and becoming a better person, I started attracting better females, and I eventually got my wife. So to all the guys that's out there saying that they can't find a good woman, they almost going on 50, that means they probably hasn't done any self accountability and worked on themselves to attract these type of women that they get, and that's a real thing. And you might not think it's a real thing, but trust me, it's a real thing. You get what you attract what you are. So I need these men to take a look at themselves and just be better. Ain't nothing wrong with challenging yourself in your way of thinking and the way you live and becoming a better person. And it's not all about just for another person. You can become a better person for yourself. So those are my last words. Everybody have a good night.
Thank you. I definitely agree with that. Become a better person for yourself. Dr. Eugene, did you have a famous last words you wanted to share?
Yes. I've been on so many panels, and every time I get on a panel, it's such an honor and it's such a privilege. So when I get on a panel, I make sure that I respect the panel and not interject. This is my famous last word.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Steele. Thank you for coming and thank you for supporting the channel. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. Supreme Super Saiyan, what you got to say?
I'm not gonna be dropping any more knowledge until you pay the $1,800 for the course. But what I will say, back to the Tupac argument at the start of the show, check out the start of the show. That means rewind if you just hopped on. But misogynoir is not new. It's not revolutionary. When you're in those echo chambers just saying a bunch of heinous stuff, you're not like free thinkers. You're literally just recycling old material. Learn to think outside of the box. Challenge those patriarchal ideas that you have. That's all.
I love it. Thank you. All right. I'm going to go ahead and close it on out. Thank you guys for coming. Those of you who come and support us every week, we appreciate it. Thanks all of you who joined the panel. Special shout out to my guest, Kay, for coming through in the building. She shuts it down every time as usual. Appreciate it. And I'm just going to kind of piggyback off of what Raven said. And, we can learn a lot from history and actual history, not our rosy recollection of what happened, but actual history. And when we don't remember history, we are definitely doomed to repeat it. So I would say we really need to look to the past and see some things that can actually be changed and what needs to be better and work on having a better future. We do not have to be caught up in a pessimistic place. We do not have to be caught up in a place where we are always fighting each other and hating each other. It's not necessary. So let's treat each other better. Let's work on that starting this week, starting tonight, starting in the morning. And good night, everybody. Thank you.